Imagine dangling over a pit of starving zombies while your ex and her new guy laugh at you. That is exactly how Jiang Xiaoyong spends his final moments before becoming an all-you-can-eat buffet. Cui Jing, the woman who played the helpless victim just to infiltrate his safe zone, stands at the edge of the pit with Li Shuxiong. They gloat over the fresh corpses of Xiaoyong's friends. That mob boss even thanks Xiaoyong for all the supplies that he collected which will feed them for months, before casually tossing him to the horde. It is the ultimate betrayal, honestly fumbling a survival streak harder than the France in the semifinals. As rotten teeth sink into his flesh, Xiaoyong screams a bloody vow of vengeance, promising that he will make them both pay if he somehow gets another chance to live. Then he blinks. No zombies, no blood, just the ceiling of his old apartment and the deeply annoying voice of Cui Jing herself, demanding he put her name on his house deed and cough up a 400,000 yuan bride price. Xiaoyong checks the digital clock on the wall. May 7, 2034. He has completely regressed. He is exactly 1 month away from the global zombie outbreak. Realizing he does not have to die for this absolute walking red flag again, Xiaoyong flat out rejects her extortion. He gets up and straight up kicks her out of the apartment. She couldn't believe what just happened. Alone in the quiet apartment, a chime rings in his head. The apocalypse system has officially activated. His first mission is called Apocalypse Preparation. He needs to secure a piece of land and stockpile a year's worth of provisions. The reward for pulling this off is 10 shop points. He checks the system store and sees exactly what he needs to survive this upcoming hellscape. There is a physical enhancement potion that boosts physical stats by 5 points for 10 shop points, plus a basic farmer supply box and a medium-sized fortress supply box. Suddenly, his stomach growls. He remembers how he spent his past life literally starving himself to save up for Cui Jing's ridiculous bride price. Never again. He immediately orders a wildly expensive Michelin 3-star braised pork meal. If the world is ending, he is going out with a premium food coma. Mid-bite, Cui Jing's best friend calls to scream at him. She claims he just failed Cui Jing's ultimate relationship test. Xiaoyong just tells her to get lost and hangs up. The amount of peace he feels blocking these people is honestly better than years of therapy. Now fueled by high-end pork and pure spite, he sets his sights on survival. He needs a secure, defensible fortress near a forest and a water source. He heads straight to the local real estate office to buy land. A sweet, polite sales agent named Xiao Ning walks up to help him, but her obnoxious boss, sales manager Zhu, instantly intervenes. Manager Zhu takes one look at Xiaoyong's cheap clothes and laughs in his face. He tells Xiao Ning to stop wasting time on a broke loser who probably could not even afford to buy a toilet, ordering her to go move heavy boxes instead. Zhu is so furious that he loudly declares a public bet. If this broke kid actually manages to buy even a toilet today, Zhu swears he will livestream himself eating actual feces, which is definitely a bold strategy for customer retention. But hey, we all have our kinks. Jiang Xiaoyong casually shuts down sales manager Zhu's trash talk by slamming down a premium black card. He declares he is here to buy land, instantly turning Zhu from a smug bully into a sweating mess. Xiao Ning, the only polite agent in the room, steps up to show him the properties. Xiaoyong lays out his exact demands. He needs a spot near mountains and running water, with solid transportation links and pre-existing factories. Sensing a chance to be a snake, manager Zhu chimes in and pushes the T-City land in the East District. Xiao Ning tries to warn Xiaoyong, explaining the project is completely abandoned because the construction team packed up and ran away. But Xiaoyong is thrilled. He immediately realizes an unfinished industrial site is the absolute perfect defensible fortress that will save him serious time and money. He signs the contract without hesitating, dropping a cool 300,000 yuan down payment from a recent $500,000 transfer. With the ink dry, Xiaoyong turns back to manager Zhu and loudly reminds him about his little promise. The entire office watches in amusement, pressuring the manager to fire up his live stream and start eating literal feces. Honestly, getting cancelled on the timeline is bad, but having to eat poop on a live broadcast because you underestimated a guy in a cheap shirt is fumbling harder than the Egypt against Argentina. A chime goes off in Xiaoyong's head. The system task updates. He has successfully hit the 1 out of 1 requirement for owning land, instantly earning 10 system shop points. Meanwhile, the resident parasite, Cui Jing, gets a tip-off from Li Shuxiong about the purchase. She immediately assumes Xiaoyong just blew the money meant for her absurd bride price. Her equally annoying associate, Dia Xiao, gasses her up and tells her to go confront him. Right on cue, Cui Jing and Dia Xiao pull up to Xiaoyong's apartment to ruin the vibe. Cui Jing goes straight into screaming mode, aggressively accusing Xiaoyong of spending her money. Xiaoyong asks these annoying NPCs what is she even talking about. Xiaoyong says he has plenty of money and he won't spend a single cent on her. While displaying with some cash, Xiaoyong shuts it down and loudly exposes her secret affair with Li Shuxiong. Her friend tries to calm him down by saying it's just a misunderstanding. He completely airs out their discreet hotel bookings right to her face. Then Xiaoyong shuts the door in their dumb faces. Getting exposed with receipts like a crying YouTuber in an apology video leaves Cui Jing absolutely terrified and bewildered. She completely panics and retreats to figure out a new scheme. But her delusion is practically an Olympic sport. Her friend thinks in her mind that since Cui Jing has messed up the situation, so she won't hold back on Xiaoyong. After all, they are good sisters. Although it makes me wonder that these bitches can think. Cut to the newly acquired T-City site, where Xiaoyong is already meeting with Foreman Li of the Paru Construction Company. Xiaoyong is not playing around. He orders standard military-grade defenses. We are talking reinforced walls, guard towers, barbed wire, thickened blast-proof steel doors, and bulletproof tempered glass. Foreman Li does the math and tells him that accelerating this massive build to finish in exactly 1 month will cost 20 million yuan. He needs a 5 million yuan deposit within a week to make it happen. Xiaoyong agrees on the spot and tells them to break ground immediately. Right then on the construction site, Cui Jing's dumb friend appeared trying to act all cute. Xiaoyong is just confused that what the hell is this dumb creature is doing here. She starts sweet-talking Xiaoyong about the beautiful scenery and bats her eyelashes, asking if he plans to build a villa for them. Xiaoyong is completely over it. He coldly brushes her off, leaving her standing there absolutely shell-shocked by his uncharacteristic indifference. She realizes this fallout is a golden opportunity to push Cui Jing aside and secure the land for herself. Honestly, watching these two turn on each other is like watching a TikTok hype house inevitably collapse from within. Back at his apartment, Xiaoyong hits the drawing board to secure more funding. Pawning the house only got him 3 million yuan, which is not going to cut it. So he decides to just sell the property to multiple buyers. It is technically massive real estate fraud, but who cares when the judicial system is going to be eaten by zombies in a month? Suddenly, loud banging rattles his door. It is his absolute menace of a neighbor, Grandpa Li. The old man already owns the first and second floors and has spent months harassing Xiaoyong to sell him the third. He starts yelling, demanding to know if Xiaoyong was out clubbing all night. Fed up with the old man's obnoxious antics, Xiaoyong finally caves. He tells Grandpa Li he will sell the house right now on one non-negotiable condition. 5 million yuan transferred immediately, and Xiaoyong gets to retain full possession of the property for the next 6 months. Grandpa Li practically salivates. He eagerly agrees and insists they draft a contract on the spot. Xiaoyong just smirks and signs the paper. Grandpa Li thinks he just scored the real estate deal of a lifetime, blissfully unaware that property values tend to plummet when your tenants turn into flesh-eating ghouls. With 5 million from the old man and 3 million from his loan, Xiaoyong is sitting on a cozy budget of 8 million yuan. He pulls up the interface and claims his 10 system points for completing the land ownership task. Now the second task pops up called a years of sustenance. Xiaoyong wastes no time. He marches straight down to the Warenfa supermarket to start frantically hoarding supplies. Naturally, the random shoppers start mocking him for buying out the aisles. Laughing at a guy stockpiling groceries is peak pre-disaster energy, completely identical to mocking the people buying extra toilet paper in early 2020. Right, even he is done collecting supplies for several months. A system notification pops up. Apocalypse preparation completed, plus 10 system points. He instantly cashes them in on the protagonist's supply box. The box materializes and drops a level 1 space ring. This beauty grants him 500 cubic meters of pure storage space. The absolute best part is that time literally stands still inside its boundary. He could toss a hot pizza in there and pull it out 5 years later, burning his mouth on the cheese. Then a new task appears on the screen, 10 years of sustenance. The commotion draws the attention of Yang Tao, a hostile former classmate who acts as an underling at the store. Yang Tao rolls up with mall security, acting incredibly tough. He asks Xiaoyong what is he doing with the massive pile of goods. Xiaoyong says that Yang Tao is still just bullying the weak, and states that he is here to buy all these supplies. Yang Tao yells if that's the case then pay right now or else he will be treated rough. The cashiers spend an entire hour tallying up the cart. The grand total hits 56,883 yuan. Yang Tao holds the transaction machine, while Xiaoyong pulls out his card and swipes it. Transaction successful. Just as Yang Tao was leaving, Xiaoyong stops him, and states if Yang Tao won't apologize to him, he will return all the items. Yang Tao goes crazy, but the crowd in the mall warn him that they will make him viral on social media if he doesn't apologize. To sweeten the pot, Xiaoyong promises he will buy 10 times as much inventory if the apology is sincere. Yang Tao doesn't believe him, but Xiaoyong says bring the machine, I will show you my balance. Yang Tao sneers, but the second he scans the card and sees a casual balance of 700,000 yuan, his knees literally buckle. He aggressively bows in pure humiliation, completely changing his tone. Desperate to leech off Xiaoyong's newfound wealth, the cowardly bully immediately offers to connect him with the supermarket supplier, their former classmate turned corrupt wholesaler, Zhang Shengzhe. Moments later, an absurdly flashy luxury car comes screaming up to the front doors, driven with maximum arrogance. Zhang Shengzhe steps out, locking eyes with Xiaoyong and recognizing him as the one classmate who actually showed a bit of backbone back in the day. The tension instantly hits a boiling point. Zhang Shengzhe mocks Xiaoyong for his cheap clothes, then turned to Yang Tao, yelling at him if this is the big client Yang Tao mentioned. Xiaoyong calls Zhang Shengzhe illiterate who looks down upon people. Zhang Shengzhe lunges forward and aggressively grabs Xiaoyong by the collar. Yang Tao completely panics and tries to de-escalate the situation, warning Xiaoyong that Zhang absolutely hates being called illiterate. He threatens outright violence if Xiaoyong does not buy at least a carload of goods right then and there. Xiaoyong casually just asks for his account number and transfers 1 million yuan to Zhang's account. Xiaoyong says he is not there to play around, he wants 5 million worth of supply and he will transfer the other 4 million once he receive his items. Zhang asks what kind of supplies does Xiaoyong need. Xiaoyong demands a genuinely massive quantity of food and drinks. Zhang reluctantly lets go and leads him deep into the warehouse. Zhang's eyes light up with greed. He instantly thinks to dump his entire inventory of near-expiry food on this supposedly clueless buyer. But Xiaoyong does not miss a beat. He actively inspects the pallets, tearing into the stacks to reveal that the entire inner layer consists of nearly expired trash. Honestly, trying to pass off expired goods by hiding them behind the fresh stuff is the exact same energy as a fitness influencer trying to sell you a detox tea. We all know it is garbage. Zhang gives him a massive 50% discount for those nearly expired supplies. Xiaoyong promises to settle the full payment in exactly 1 month. Zhang hesitates, saying what if the items expires and Xiaoyong refuses to pay? Xiaoyong says he mortgage his house, teasing Zhang that in a month expired food will hold more value than ever. Xiaoyong gets a call and leaves in hurry, ordering them to get the delivery ready. Meanwhile, Grandpa Li shows up at Xiaoyong's apartment to deliver a thick stack of cash. It is a 400,000 yuan cash deposit for the third-floor unit, and the old man agrees to let Xiaoyong vacate the place in 3 months. Grandpa Li gets vulnerable for a second, openly admitting that this money is his family's entire 2-generation savings, scraped together just to secure his granddaughter's school residency. Xiaoyong is genuinely touched by the old man's raw honesty. He signs the contract without hesitation. But as Grandpa Li turns to leave, the reality of the impending zombie apocalypse hits Xiaoyong. He knows this kind-hearted family will never survive what is coming. He stops the old man at the door and asks for his exact home address, silently resolving to safeguard them when the world ends. Going from a ruthless scammer to adopting an apocalyptic found family in record time is honestly some serious character growth. Back at the T-City construction site, Foreman Lee delivers some incredibly good news. The heavy reinforcements are already 80% complete. The secure walls are up, the blast-proof steel doors are installed, and a massive warehouse is fully ready for use. Xiaoyong wastes no time. He immediately orders Zhang Shengzhe to deliver the wholesale goods. Just as the supplies arrive, he directs the workers to warehouse, carefully organizes the goods. When it was all done, a system chime goes off in his head. The 10 years of sustenance task is officially complete, instantly awarding him a massive 20 shop points. He pulls up the system store and aggressively drops 10 points on an ability awakening supply box. The box opens, granting him Mind's Eye Level 1. This invaluable ability lets him instantly detect active hostility from anyone nearby. Having a built-in radar for fake friends and absolute haters is honestly the greatest power-up anyone could ask for. Just as the ability settles in, his interface updates again. A new task pops up titled Battle Ready, strictly requiring him to begin arming himself for the inevitable slaughter. Shortly after, Xiaoyong hits up a local late-night black market, a shady spot famous for peddling counterfeit Ma Wangdue historical relics and illegal imports. While navigating the crowded alleys, he spots his absolute worst enemy, Li Shuxiong. The guy is literally purchasing a fake jade bracelet. Xiaoyong just shakes his head, noting that Cui Jing is definitely foolish enough to be completely deceived by such absolute garbage. Buying your apocalypse girlfriend fake jewelry from a night market is honestly a worse investment than buying subscription of a OnlyFans bit. Searching deeper into the market, Xiaoyong finally locates what he actually came for, a covert weapon vendor. To prove he is not just window shopping, He casually transfers a 200,000 yuan deposit directly into the vendor's account. Stunned by the sudden cash drop, the dealer immediately ushers him into a secure private room. The vendor tries to push some cheap homemade firearms and illegally imported QA revolvers, but Xiaoyong flatly rejects the junk. He is not playing around with toy guns. He demands 2 million yuan worth of premium weapons, using his deposit as a 10% prepayment. Suddenly, things take a turn when Xiaoyong runs into Li Shuxiong. Xiaoyong takes this perfect opportunity to test out his newly acquired mind's eye ability. The skill operates completely flawlessly, projecting glowing, color-coded auras right over his targets. The indicators instantly confirm deep, radiating hostility coming from Li Shuxiong. Xiaoyong decides to poke the bear, openly mocking Li Shuxiong for using cheap fakes to trick Cui Jing. A furious Li Shuxiong snaps abuses Xiaoyong. Xiaoyong orders the weapons dealer to take care of him. The weapons dealer and his men beat the living crap out of that trash of a human being. Fast forward 2 days later, and a massive shipment of black market firearms is successfully delivered right to his fortress. A system chime goes off. His battle-ready task is officially complete. The system rewards him with 10 points and a sweet bonus physical enhancement potion. These potions directly alter base biology. Since a standard adult male has a base score of 5, a +2 potion grants a massive 40% increase in pure muscular strength. Xiaoyong immediately downs the bonus potion to boost his physical stats by 2 points. Then he turns around and spends his remaining 20 system points on yet another enhancement potion. With his strength now increased by well over 60% compared to an average male, he casually bends thick solid steel pipes with his bare hands just to flex. Instead of leaving the heavy crates sitting around, Xiaoyong taps into his level 1 space ring. He seamlessly digitizes the entire weapons cache, safely storing the massive crates inside the ring's boundary to preserve precious physical space in his fortress warehouse. Digitizing a literal armory into a piece of jewelry is next-level hoarding, but you have to respect the inventory management. With his fortress armed, his body enhanced, and his supplies secured, Xiaoyong takes a breath. The countdown is almost over. The global apocalypse commences in exactly 2 days. Reflecting on Grandpa Li's vulnerable position, Jiang Xiaoyong decides to do the unthinkable and actually be a decent human being. He plans to deliver a massive stockpile of survival supplies to the old man and his granddaughter as direct repayment for handing over that 5 million yuan. Jiang Xiaoyong casually climbs the stairs to Grandpa Li's modest rented apartment. Before even knocking on the door, he pulls a massive stack of survival supplies straight out of his spatial ring. He wants to have the goods ready and avoid raising any unnecessary suspicion before making his pitch. Grandpa Li swings the door open and immediately starts pleading. He will pay the rent in a week. Xiaoyong looks at the apartment and thinks that this door is good enough to hold zombies in the apocalypse. Then he tells Grandpa Li to listen carefully. If he uses these supplies wisely, it will last them long enough. Xiaoyong then looks at the photo of Shanshan, Grandpa Li's granddaughter. Xiaoyong flashes back to his previous life. He remembers how Grandpa Li tragically died trying to save Shanshan from her besieged school all by himself. Xiaoyong just shakes his head and drops the absolute heaviest truth bomb. He tells the old man that the contract completely does not matter anymore because the entire world is going to turn into a living hell tomorrow. Grandpa Li looks bewildered, probably thinking this kid finally lost his mind. So Xiaoyong decides to just skip the talking phase entirely. He casually rips open a glowing spatial rift right there in the doorway, effortlessly demonstrating his impossible storage abilities. Honestly, opening a literal portal to another dimension in a dingy apartment hallway is the biggest flex since someone bringing a boombox to a silent retreat. With the old man sufficiently stunned, Xiaoyong tells him to get moving. They need to go rescue his granddaughter, Shanshan, from her school right now. Xiaoyong grips the steering wheel and vows to prevent that exact tragedy from happening this time around. They arrive at the high school and the scene is an absolute mess. Shanshan is being violently bullied by a group of vicious classmates. Apparently, they are completely losing their minds with jealousy over high school boy when the global zombie apocalypse starts in less than 24 hours is some Hulk IQ level genius. The bullies are literally dragging Shanshan across the floor by her hair. Seeing this, Grandpa Li instantly charges forward to protect his grandbaby. But a couple of armed male students step up and aggressively strike the old man down. That is when Xiaoyong decides playtime is officially over. He steps in, instantly drawing on his newly enhanced physical stats and insane roll reaction speed. Xiaoyong effortlessly catches the bat midair with his bare hand, coldly chiding the kids for their absolute thuggery. Another student panics and lunges forward with a literal knife. Xiaoyong dodges the blade without even breaking a sweat and delivers a devastating, bone-crunching kick. Tapping into his superior reflexes, He seamlessly sweeps through the rest of the remaining bullies. He grabs them and aggressively slams them into the concrete, leaving the entire group battered and groaning on the ground. Getting completely leveled by a guy who just casually caught a bat barehanded is definitely going to ruin their high school reputation, assuming they even survive the weekend. He grabs one of the female bullies by the hair to teach her a lesson, completely ignoring her terrified screams. The lead bully tries to act tough and angrily threatens him, but Xiaoyong simply unleashes his terrifying, dark aura. The sheer intimidation instantly shocks her into absolute silence. Calling for Shanshan and Grandpa Li. Inside Xiaoyong's car, Shanshan is highly skeptical of this entire situation. She starts lecturing Grandpa Li for blindly trusting what she fully believes is a blatant scam. Turning her attitude toward Xiaoyong, she demands to know the truth about his claims of an impending famine. Xiaoyong calmly admits that he completely fabricated the famine story just to help her grandfather understand the urgency. He drops the real truth bomb, casually revealing that an actual zombie apocalypse is imminent. To prove it, he instructs her to pull out her phone and check the news. She clicks on a live broadcast and watches in pure horror as rabid humans violently bite other people in the streets. It is the initial stage of the zombie virus manifesting right on live television. Even with the visual proof, she heavily struggles to accept it. Finding out your apocalypse prep is for flesh-eating zombies instead of a mild food shortage is the ultimate bait and switch. Way worse than realizing your Tinder date uses heavy filters. Xiaoyong coldly warns her that the reality of the situation will soon become completely undeniable. The group suddenly finds themselves trapped in a massive highway gridlock. The early panic is already setting in, with even the emergency lane completely blocked by desperate drivers trying to flee the city. While Grandpa Li starts panicking about zombies catching up to them in traffic, the situation gets worse. An arrogant driver right behind them begins relentlessly honking and aggressively ramming their vehicle trying to cut ahead. Grandpa Li is terrified and pleads with Xiaoyong to avoid a confrontation, terrified of messing with someone who clearly has money. But Xiaoyong does not care about your tax bracket when the world is ending. Tapping into his enhanced physical attributes, his roll reaction speed translates directly into flawless vehicular control. He violently slams his car into the aggressor's vehicle with high precision, completely disabling their engine on the spot. Totaling a rich guy's luxury car just because he merged aggressively is absolute menace behavior, but we love a proactive king. Leaving the wrecked car in the dust, Xiaoyong speeds away. Jiang Xiaoyong pulls into the garage of his newly fortified base. Grandpa Li and Meng Shanshan step out of the car and just look around in absolute awe. Xiaoyong does not give them a single moment to relax, immediately warning them that starting tomorrow, survival is going to be incredibly tough. He points out the massive reinforced concrete walls and the solid steel, remote-controlled gates locking them in. He casually explains that it would take literal heavy weaponry to even put a dent in this place. Shanshan hesitates and nervously asks if they really have to just leave all the other survivors out there to die. Xiaoyong looks at her and drops the cold, hard truth, warning her that human nature becomes highly unpredictable when society collapses. He strictly tells her that having excess pity in an apocalypse will absolutely get them killed. Honestly, setting strict boundaries with people is great, but refusing to let anyone inside your house because they might try to eat your face is just top-tier self-care. He points to an outer container area, designating it as a temporary buffer shelter. He gives them one absolute rule to live by, strictly instructing them to never, ever let outsiders into the main fortress. Moving into the warehouse, Xiaoyong decides to double-check their loyalty and activates his mind's eye. Instead of the red hostile auras from before, glowing green smiley faces pop up right above Grandpa Li and Shanshan. The system completely confirms they have absolute trust in him. Xiaoyong taps his space ring. He instantly materializes his massive weapons cache right out of thin air, completely dropping their jaws. He hands Grandpa Li a literal shotgun and tosses Shanshan a heavy crossbow, fully equipping his new apocalyptic family. Handing a pump-action shotgun to a grandpa who was just trying to buy an apartment yesterday is a wild pivot, but you have to respect the hustle. Suddenly, the apocalypse system chimes in with a brand new task called Former Comrades Volume 1. He needs to track down and rescue his old teammate, Zhang Qi, for a sweet 20 points. A glowing green navigation arrow pops up in his vision, and Xiaoyong immediately leaves the base to go recruit his team. He follows the arrow all the way to a local KTV joint where oblivious college students are currently partying their lives away. Inside KTV room 3090, his former comrade Zhang Qi is celebrating with a classmate named Chun Chong. They step out into the hallway for a second and accidentally bump into some obnoxiously wealthy guy. This arrogant dude instantly snaps, violently kicking Chun Chong to the floor and lifting Zhang Qi right off the ground by his collar. Chun Chong desperately begs for mercy on the floor. Luckily, A noticeably sick KTV employee stumbles over and briefly manages to defuse the tense situation. The employee has a sudden, aggressive cold right after recovering from a stomach flu, which is definitely the zombie virus warming up in the bullpen. The terrified students scramble back into their private room, with Chun Chong frantically urging everyone to just keep their heads down and avoid any more trouble. But the arrogant wealthy man is not done flexing his fragile ego. He violently bursts into their room with a squad of armed thugs, instantly pinning the students down. Chun Chong panics and just asks if he can make a quick phone call to smooth things over. Instead of answering, the wealthy man brutally smashes a heavy glass bottle right over his head. Zhang Qi screams in pure horror as his friend collapses to the floor. Meanwhile, right outside the KTV front doors, Xiaoyong finally arrives, completely prepared to walk in and ruin this rich guy's entire night. Inside KTV room 3090, Zhang Qi and Chun Chong finally decide they have had enough. They bravely try to stand their ground and fight back against the invading thugs. Naturally, they are immediately overpowered and brutally pinned to the floor. Honestly, the sheer confidence of side characters thinking they can win a fistfight without protagonist armor is studying for finals at 3 a.m. levels of delusion. The sick KTV waiter from earlier makes his grand return. His basic cold symptoms of a runny nose and a spinning head rapidly escalate into a full-blown berserk mutation. The guy completely loses it, mutating into a rabid zombie, and lunges straight at a thug wearing a black t-shirt. He viciously sinks his teeth right into the thug's shoulder. Another gang member violently grabs the waiter, desperately trying to pull him off his buddy, but he immediately gets bitten as well. Talk about a drastic drop in customer service quality. Exactly at that horrifying moment, Zhang Xiaoyong kicks the door and bursts into the room. He instantly clocks the threat, stepping up behind the zombie waiter and grabbing him directly by the back of the neck. Using his massively enhanced physical stats, Xiaoyong casually lifts the fully grown adult with just one hand. He brutally slams the zombie's head straight into the giant television screen, shattering the glass into a million pieces. Glancing down, Xiaoyong spots terrifying black veins already aggressively spreading across the bitten thug's neck. He instantly realizes the infection is fatal and the mutation is going to happen almost immediately. Moving with zero hesitation, Xiaoyong picks up the dazed zombie waiter and literally tosses him straight out into the bathroom. He slams the heavy door shut, locking it tight to block zombie outside. He easily exploits the one saving grace of early-stage zombies, which is that they literally lack the brain cells to operate a basic door handle. Being outsmarted by a piece of metal is tragic, but we love a low IQ apocalypse. With the door fully secured and the immediate viral threat locked outside, Xiaoyong slowly turns his attention to the remaining hostile gang members. He flexes his superior physical stats and martial arts prowess, completely unleashing on them. He swiftly and ruthlessly beats the remaining bad guys into the floor, catching bodies like an absolute raid boss. With the thugs entirely neutralized, he easily rescues Zhang Qi and his friends from the wreckage of the room. Zhang Xiaoyong firmly instructs Zhang Qi to wait outside KTV room 3090. As they step into the hallway, the thug leader tries to quickly slip away with his female companion. Xiaoyong instantly blocks his path, yelling that his arrogant little stunt just moments ago almost got his friend killed. Xiaoyong violently shoves the thug leader straight back into the infected room and slams the heavy door shut. Trapping the guy who started the fight inside a room full of flesh-eating zombies is exactly the level of petty karma I need in my life. Instantly, absolutely terrifying screams of pure agony and frantic banging echo out into the hallway. A KTV staff member wanders over and asks if they need any help. Xiaoyong casually warns the guy that it is just a really bad case of the rabid flu. He helpfully suggests they lock the door completely first, and then call emergency services right away. The staff members secure the lock and head to the security desk to check the live surveillance feed. They stare at the monitors, completely frozen in absolute shock as they watch the horrifying viral outbreak unfold on screen. We jump straight to Xiaoyong's car, where he is driving his rescued friend far away from the collapsing city center. While they frantically discuss the literal end of the world, they look out the window and witness a fully infected person violently leap straight onto a nearby moving vehicle. The zombie infection features a terrifyingly stealthy incubation period before causing a rapid, violent mental and physical mutation. Honestly, seeing a rabid guy parkour onto a sedan in city traffic is just a standard Tuesday commute. But this is still a bad sign. Inside the quiet car, the apocalypse system suddenly chimes in to announce the completion of the former partner task, awarding Xiaoyong a sweet 20 points. He hits the system store and immediately redeems 3 crucial supply boxes for 2 points apiece. He scores the post-apocalyptic cultivator box, the sugar, oil, and protein box, and the highly necessary armed deterrence box. Glancing at the students in the rearview mirror, Xiaoyong suddenly recalls a grim memory from his previous life. He remembers that Zhang Qi's entire dormitory was completely wiped out by zombies, all because one of his trusted friends betrayed them. Zhang Qi ended up being the sole survivor of that absolute massacre. Realizing he has no idea exactly which classmate is the hidden traitor, Xiaoyong knows he desperately has to resolve this massive trust issue before it gets them all killed. Meanwhile, the scene abruptly cuts over to Cui Jing's apartment. She and Dia Xiao are watching their neighbor get dragged away by an ambulance, finally realizing that the rabid flu rumors are 100% real. Dia Xiao immediately starts complaining about Li Shuxiong and his totally undelivered supplies. Cui Jing smirks and instructs her to get Li Shuxiong on the phone right now. She proudly reveals that her personal lackeys actually tracked massive supply trucks all the way to Xiaoyong's abandoned factory before the pandemic fully collapsed local society. She outlines a greedy, arrogant plot to have Li Shuxiong forcefully seize the massive warehouse stockpile. Of course, she fully demands a heavy cut of the profits for providing the intel. Zhang Xiaoyong's vehicle pulls up to the base, and Zhang Qi is immediately blown away by the massive, fortified design. Xiaoyong does not waste any time, introducing the newcomers to Shang Bo, formerly known as Grandpa Li and Shanshan. The two of them warmly welcome the battered students inside the safe walls. Shang Bo takes charge of showing the group around the compound, while the severely injured Chen Chong is carefully moved into the secure infirmary. Yiming, one of the classmates, immediately asks Xiaoyong if they can be issued weapons. His friend quickly pulls him back, warning him that they definitely need to earn some serious trust before asking for weapons. Later on, while the students are finally getting some rest, Yiming starts spiraling into paranoia. He argues that they are basically just captives here. He goes completely off the deep end, suggesting the secure infirmary is actually just a front for Xiaoyong to harvest Chen Chong's organs, and eventually all of theirs. Yiming does not stop there, proposing a full-blown plan to take over the fortress by force while Xiaoyong is out. He even drops a totally creepy remark about Shanshan, completely disgusting Zhang Qi and their other companion. Realizing he totally misread the room and went way too far, Yiming nervously laughs it all off as just a dark joke. But internally, he secretly resolves to betray his naive companions anyway, planning to turn them into his personal lackeys the second he successfully seizes the base. Following their conversation, Shang Bo and Shanshan meet up with Xiaoyong down in the warehouse. Shang Bo gives a quick status report, confirming that Chen Chong is settled in the infirmary and that every single door and window is tightly locked. Xiaoyong thanks Shang Bo and advises both of them to go get some much-needed rest. But just as they turn to leave, Xiaoyong stops them to deliver a chilling warning. He tells them to be especially careful around Zhang Qi's other two classmates, operating on a strong hunch that one of them has a dangerous rebellious streak and could betray them all. Left completely alone in the warehouse, Xiaoyong opens the system store and redeems 3 highly anticipated supply boxes for 2 points each. The post-apocalyptic cultivator box drops 50 corn seeds, setting him up for long-term farming. The sugar, oil, and protein box hooks him up with starch sausages, preserved pork, and pickled mustard noodles. Finally, the armed deterrence box grants a massive payload of 1,500 rounds of ammunition. Stockpiling pickled noodles and 1,500 bullets is the ultimate apocalypse diet, carb loading for the end of the world while staying heavily strapped. Just as things seem secure inside, a massive gang of hostile thugs violently arrives right outside the base. Having successfully tracked the address, the arrogant leader orders his men to smash the solid steel gate wide open. They quickly realize the gate is completely impenetrable to brute force. Furious, the boss orders his men to stop messing around and bring out the heavy gear. They unleash an absolute barrage of lit Molotov cocktails, violently hurling the firebombs until the massive steel gates are completely engulfed in raging flames. Shanshan frantically screams and carries a bucket of water while the others desperately grab a massive tub to douse the flames. As she fights the blaze, reality completely crashes down on her, and she finally realizes Xiaoyong was absolutely right about how swiftly society would collapse into pure chaos. Meanwhile, Xiaoyong and Shang Bo scale the heavy watchtower. Shang Bo peers over the edge and immediately recognizes the attackers below. It is the exact same arrogant group that aggressively provoked them on the highway earlier. Down in the dirt, the thug boss arrogantly demands that Xiaoyong surrender immediately, threatening to completely burn the stronghold to the ground if they resist. Rolling up to a reinforced military bunker with glass bottles of gasoline and demanding a surrender is the kind of unearned confidence you usually only see from crypto bros with a podcast microphone. Xiaoyong is completely unfazed and coldly gives them a 5-minute warning to pack up and get lost. Instead of listening, the arrogant thugs just sneer and start preparing to hurl even more firebombs at the gate. Right on cue, the apocalypse system triggers a brand new task called Ordinary Threat, promising a solid 10 points for successfully eliminating the attackers. Shang Bo nervously suggests firing a warning shot to scare them off without unnecessary bloodshed. Xiaoyong completely rejects the idea of a warning and instantly fires his rifle, brutally shattering the boss's hand in a spray of blood. The thugs absolutely panic, dropping their weapons as they scramble to retreat toward their vehicle. Xiaoyong does not hesitate, unleashing a highly lethal, relentless burst of automatic fire that violently guns down several screaming henchmen on the spot. Refusing to let the survivors escape, he smoothly hip-fires with terrifying military precision, completely shredding their getaway SUV and leaving it smoking in ruins. Shang Bo stands frozen on the tower, watching in absolute awe of Xiaoyong's flawless, professional combat accuracy. Instead of heading out to clear the bodies, Xiaoyong casually decides to just leave the dead thugs exactly where they are. He plans to let them reanimate into zombies so Zhangqi and Shanshan can use them for live target practice later. Turning your failed home invaders into reusable, free-range target practice is eco-friendly king behavior, and we absolutely love a sustainable apocalypse. Meanwhile, just down the road, Li Shuxiong drives the ever-delusional Cui Jing and her friend Xiaoya into the vicinity. Li Shuxiong safely parks the car nearby to coordinate his backup, while the two girls head toward the factory on foot. Xiaoya immediately starts complaining about walking through the dirt in her high heels, but Cui Jing aggressively drags her along, completely obsessed with her plan to reclaim total control over Xiaoyong. As they blindly approach the site, they freeze in pure shock. They discover the smoking wreckage of the SUV and a road completely littered with bullet-ridden, bloody corpses. Xiaoya is utterly terrified and begs to head back to safety immediately. But Cui Jing's delusion is truly unmatched. She instantly assumes Xiaoyong must have been killed in the shootout and eagerly urges Xiaoya to sneak closer. She wants to check if the factory gate is unlocked so they can just casually walk in and claim his massive stockpile of supplies for themselves. Cui Jing and Wenshuya creep up to the fortress, only to find the massive steel gate tightly shut. Up on the watchtower, Shanshan immediately spots the two intruders and aims her heavy crossbow straight down at them. Down below, Cui Jing boldly shouts up, claiming to be Xiaoyong's loving girlfriend, while Wenshuya nervously eyes the deadly weapon pointed at her head. Cui Jing whispers a reassurance, promising that Li Shuxiong's hidden pistols can easily handle Xiaoyong the second he is dumb enough to open the gate. Up on the balcony, Xiaoyong steps out to join Shanshan and immediately activates his Eye of Insight. The ability instantly projects glowing red icons of pure malice right above the two girls' heads. Seeing the absolute hostility, he completely rejects Cui Jing's fake concern and loudly asks exactly where Li Shuxiong and his armed men are hiding. Completely stunned that her ambush is ruined, Cui Jing arrogantly demands entry anyway. Xiaoyong responds by aiming his rifle and firing a warning shot directly at her feet. She glares up defiantly, screaming and asking if he actually dares to shoot her. Xiaoyong looks down coldly and replies that killing them himself would just be way too easy, choosing instead to let them die at the hands of the oncoming undead. Right on cue, the bullet-ridden bodies of the highway thugs suddenly twitch, their corpses rising from the dirt as fully mutated zombies. Airborne pathogens are no joke, rapidly reanimating any deceased hosts in the area into violent monsters. Watching the dead rise in the rearview mirror, a completely terrified Li Shuxiong slams on the gas, abandoning the girls and driving away as fast as possible. Leaving your apocalypse girlfriend to get eaten while you speed off in a sedan is a jerk behavior, but again, why would anyone care about these bitches? Absolute panic sets in. Cui Jing scrambles backward, fleeing right behind Wenshuya. In a move of pure, ruthless cowardice, Cui Jing desperately throws her heavy handbag directly at her best friend's feet. Wenshuya trips over the bag and violently crashes face first into the dirt. The swarm of fresh zombies instantly pounces, tearing into her as she screams agonizing curses at Cui Jing. As her friend is eaten alive, Cui Jing runs away, heartlessly thinking to herself that Wenshuya completely deserved to die anyway. With the immediate threat eliminated, Xiaoyong's system chimes in, awarding him 10 points and issuing a brand new task called Silent Storm. The task requires him to clear out local mutants and start gathering more supplies. Shanshan stands on the balcony, watching the absolute bloody carnage in total horror, as Xiaoyong casually explains the airborne pathogens, rapidly reanimating the dead. Back inside the safety of the fortress, Xiaoyong gathers Shang Bo, Zhangqi and his friends for a mandatory quarantine meeting. He strictly instructs the group to stay entirely indoors, firmly seal all openings, minimize any risk of mutation. But Zhangqi is standing frozen in deep worry about Chun Chong. Chun Chong in the infirmary is lying in bed with terrifying, dark purple veins aggressively spreading up his arm, neck and head. Somewhere in a secure apartment, Zhang Shangzhe is pacing around, trying to figure out a solid plan to retrieve his remaining warehouse stocks. He turns to his wife, Xiaoli, and their young son, strictly instructing them to keep the heavy door locked no matter what happens. But that illusion of safety is violently shattered just seconds later. His former associate, Yang Tao, orchestrates a brutal, violent break-in. Yang Tao and his gang of thugs easily overpower Zhang, taking his entirely innocent family hostage right in their own living room. Zhang furiously confronts his former underling, screaming about his blatant betrayal and complete lack of a human conscience. But Yang Tao just coldly dismisses their entire history, demanding the keys to the massive wholesale warehouse. Yang Tao violently grabs Xiaoli by her hair, pulling her back. Seeing his mom in danger, Zhang's young son, Zhe, fearlessly lunges forward and sinks his teeth right into Yang Tao's hand. Biting the home invader during a literal zombie apocalypse is a bold strategy, but you have to respect the kid's raw defensive energy. Zhang screams in pure panic, desperately demanding they let go of his wife and child. Yang Tao smirks, promising that as long as Zhang completely cooperates and leads them straight to the warehouse, his precious family will survive. Fast forward to the warehouse, and the massive doors swing open to reveal absolutely nothing. The place is completely, utterly empty. Yang Tao stands there doing the math, quickly recognizing that Zhang Xiaoyong cleared out almost all the inventory right before the world ended. He instantly suspects that Xiaoyong somehow knew about the impending disaster in advance. Realizing Xiaoyong is sitting on a mountain of resources, Yang Tao immediately pivots, plotting a violent raid to seize the massive stock at the factory to secure their own survival. Planning a raid on a military-grade fortress with a couple of thugs and a stolen key ring is fumbling your survival odds harder than a horror movie character splitting up to investigate a strange noise. To force total cooperation, Yang Tao threatens Zhang again, demanding he help them trade Xiaoyong's supplies for his family's continued safety. Meanwhile, back at the secure fortress infirmary, the atmosphere is incredibly tense. Chun Chong's terrifying zombie mutation is rapidly progressing, with those dark purple veins aggressively taking over his body. The virus is completely irreversible once a host is infected, causing rapid physical decay and extreme aggression. Zhang Xiaoyong stands there completely stone-faced. He turns to the incredibly paranoid Yiming and coldly instructs him to finish his classmate off. Xiaoyong literally hands Yiming a steel dagger, casually questioning if the guy has not always wanted a weapon of his own. Before Yiming can even process the horrifying request, Zhang Qi steps in. Unable to watch his friend suffer and mutate, Zhang Qi reaches out and takes the heavy dagger for himself. He looks down at his mutating friend and firmly declares that he will be the one to do it. Xiaoyong decides to give Zhang Qi one final, brutal loyalty test. He warns him that if he strikes Chun Chong down right now, it officially makes him a real murderer. Zhang Qi doesn't even hesitate, declaring his absolute trust in Xiaoyong, and completely commits to the swing, attempting to stab his mutating friend. But right before the blade connects, Xiaoyong catches Zhang Qi's hand mid-swing. He casually orders the rest of the group to step back, explaining that Chun Chong actually has a very special condition and is still highly useful to him. A system notification just pinged in Xiaoyong's vision, alerting him that Chun Chong is actually a rare mutated specimen. Refusing to put down your infected friend because the system flagged him as a rare collectible is peak Pokemon trainer behavior, and we honestly respect the grind. Once everyone clears the room, Xiaoyong leans right over the bound, aggressively roaring zombie. He looks Chun Chong dead in the eyes and whispers that he has a very important task for him. Meanwhile, out on the chaotic streets, Zhang Shengzhe violently crashes his car and is forced to flee on foot. He doesn't make it far before a stray zombie ambushes him from the shadows, viciously sinking its teeth right into his left forearm. Adrenaline spikes, and Zhang Shengzhe grabs a heavy crowbar, brutally beating the infected monster to death in the middle of the road. Fully infected and living on borrowed time, he just starts walking straight toward Xiaoyong's base. Honestly, walking miles to your enemy's fortress after getting fatally infected is the ultimate will test. Later that day, Xiaoyong decides it is time for a field trip and leads his newly formed team out of the safety of the fortress. Shanshan immediately starts complaining that their thick hand protective gear is super uncomfortable. Xiaoyong shuts that down instantly, explaining that the explosive, unpredictable power of mindless zombies makes heavy safety gear absolutely mandatory for beginners. As they cautiously step into the sensing range of the wandering rovers, Xiaoyong orders everyone to prepare for live combat. He strictly instructs them to always watch each other's backs and exclusively target the zombie's head or the back of the neck. Xiao Kai steps up to the plate and violently strikes a zombie directly on the top of its skull. The blunt strike does absolutely zero damage, instantly numbing Xiao Kai's hand from the heavy impact. Targeting the literal thickest, Most durable bone on a monster's body during your first fight is dumbest thing you can do. Xiaoyong casually points at Xiao Kai, loudly announcing to the group that this is a flawless example of exactly what not to do. The enraged zombie immediately counters the failed strike. Xiao Kai panics, desperately blocking the attack and screaming for help. Surprisingly, Xiaoyong praises his quick defensive block and sends Zhang Qi in to assist. Zhang Qi easily secures the kill and happily turns around, asking Xiaoyong how they performed. Suddenly, a feral zombie violently ambushes Xiaoyong directly from behind. Zhang Qi screams a panicked warning, but Xiaoyong doesn't even flinch. He effortlessly catches the monster's snapping face with just one hand like a Chad, stopping it dead in its tracks. He looks at his stunned team and casually reminds them to never, ever stop observing their immediate surroundings. Catching a rabid monster by the face while delivering a calm tactical lecture is the exact kind of overpowered protagonist energy we signed up for. Not too far away, a battered Zhang Shengzhe is watching from the distance. He spots Xiaoyong's team and is completely shocked to see them actively hunting rovers in broad daylight like it is a casual sport. But before he can even take a step toward them, he is violently ambushed from his blind spot. He gets viciously dragged down to the pavement by a feral female zombie. And in the ultimate, brutal twist of fate, the monster tearing into him is none other than Cui Jing's betrayed best friend. When Shuya, Zhang Xiaoyong raises his gun and casually blows away the feral zombie attacking Zhang Shengzhe. But instead of offering a helping hand, he keeps the barrel pointed right at the wholesaler's head. Instantly realizing the guy has already been bitten, he bursts into tears, begging Xiaoyong to just listen to him for 1 second before pulling the trigger. Shengzhe spills everything, explaining that the cowardly Yang Tao has taken his innocent family hostage just to force an ambush and steal Xiaoyong's massive supply stash. He violently sobs, warning that his wife and kid will face a fate way worse than his own mutation if they are not rescued. He begs Xiaoyong to save them as a final repayment for his past help with the warehouse stockpiling. Motivated by his past assistance, and briefly noting that the fortress's gender ratio is heavily skewed, Xiaoyong suddenly gets a prompt. The system activates a brand new rescue mission called Protect the Family, dangling a sweet 25 points. Xiaoyong nods and coldly promises to handle the situation. Shengzhe drops his head and begs Xiaoyong to just end his life right there to stop the mutation. Instead of giving him a quick out, Xiaoyong turns to Shanshan and orders her to fetch a literal bicycle. He commands the mutating man to hop on the bike and pedal himself out to an isolated area far away from the base. Shengzhe actually listens, weeping for his family, as he frantically pedals down the street, while his terrifying biological transformation begins. Forcing a guy to commute to his own zombie mutation on a 10-speed bike is the most eco-friendly apocalypse execution of all time. Back with the team, they finish burning the dead zombies in a pile, successfully completing their cleanup mission. Xiaoyong gathers them around, explaining that while they can easily style on single zombies, massive hordes remain way too dangerous to mess with. Preparing to head into the ruined city completely alone, Xiaoyong tosses the crucial storage and weapon keys directly to Grandpa Li. His newly trained comrades instantly offer to tag along and fight, but Xiaoyong flat out rejects them, looking them in the eye and calling them a complete burden. Getting benched because the squad leader thinks you are dead weight is tough, but it definitely beats getting eaten alive in the streets. He charges Grandpa Li with the absolute defense of the fortress and speeds off in his vehicle. While driving, Xiaoyong starts manually refreshing the system store, completely unfazed that the point cost increases with every fresh. He finally rolls exactly what he wants, purchasing a level 1 black tech supply box. He rips it open to find an ultra-rare +5 physical enhancement potion and injects it immediately. The powerful consumable permanently upgrades his physical attributes completely past normal human limits. His updated status screen shows his base stats sitting at a monstrous 18, absolutely dwarfing the standard human baseline of 10, right alongside his space ring and mind's eye abilities. Blowing all your hard-earned currency on manual store refreshes just to get a massive stat boost is peak gacha gamer behavior, and it is absolutely paying off. Meanwhile, back at Shengzhe's apartment, time has officially run out. Yang Tao and his scummy thugs violently break straight into the room, completely ignoring the terrified mother's desperate pleas as they aggressively grab her. Inside the apartment, the thugs violently assault Xiaoli until Li suddenly intervenes. He orders the thugs to back off and release her, laying down some cold, tactical logic. He explains that pushing Xiaoli to suicide would leave her husband with absolutely nothing to lose, risking a bloody fight to the death that none of them want. He decides they will simply return for her after dealing with her husband first. The thugs reluctantly agree, pulling back and leaving the terrified mother and child huddled together as they withdraw to search the place for supplies. Meanwhile, Xiaoyong is cruising toward the city center, completely enjoying his newly enhanced reaction time and flawless vehicular control. Wanting to avoid drawing any unnecessary attention from massive hordes, he smartly ditches the car and proceeds on foot. A pack of rovers immediately attacks him in the open street. Xiaoyong effortlessly dodges their rabid strikes and smoothly slices right through them with his sword. He quickly realizes that his strength, reflexes, and sensory insight have vastly improved. His physical attributes now more than double those of an average human. Thanks to his heavily upgraded stats, his enhanced auditory insight picks up the distinct sounds of a struggle about 800 meters away. Right on cue, the system triggers a brand new encounter mission. Nearby, things are looking incredibly grim. Captain Li, Old Song, and a young kid named Zishuan are completely cornered by rovers inside a supermarket. They frantically barricade the entrance with heavy objects. As the rovers violently batter the glass storefront, Zishuan breaks down crying in pure fear. Old Song tries to comfort his son but completely ruins the vibe by bringing up their impending death, forcing Captain Li to scold Old Song instead for being so negative. Telling a crying kid about the sweet release of death while zombies bash their faces against a grocery store window is absolute parenting energy as an Asian parent. Suddenly, the group hears a strange noise outside. Captain Li orders Old Song and Zishuan to quietly move the heavy barricades so he can go check it out. Stepping outside, they are shocked to find a pile of freshly dead rovers. Zishuan instantly insists that a mutant did this, explaining that mutants are way faster and stronger than standard zombies. When asked how he knows that, Zishuan freely admits he learned it all from reading novels, playing games, and reading comics. Old Song completely loses it, yelling at his son and blaming those exact hobbies for his terrible school grades. Captain Li steps in and shuts the dad down, bluntly telling him he has absolutely zero emotional intelligence. A chime goes off in Xiaoyong's head. The system awards him 5 sweet points for completing the encounter rescue mission, bumping his current total up to 11 points. The surviving trio suddenly spots Xiaoyong in front of them. Zishuan panics, mistaking him for a mutant, but Xiaoyong immediately shatters that illusion by casually speaking to them. Being mistaken for a superpowered zombie because you are just standing there menacingly in a ruined supermarket is peak protagonist aura. Relieved to see a normal human, Captain Li is thrilled to find a lone survivor out in the wild. He proudly flashes his gun, boasting about his firearm and extensive survival experience, and generously offers Xiaoyong his protection. Xiaoyong plays along, inquiring about their group. Captain Li explains they are out gathering supplies and plan to head back to their civilian base at Rongxiang Garden, mentioning there are other survivors there as well. Xiaoyong subtly confirms the location, asking if it is situated directly across the street from Jinyu Mansion. Old Song nods and confirms the exact spot. Captain Li formally offers Xiaoyong a spot in their group, promising to protect him and safely escort him to the base. Xiaoyong just smiles, accepts the offer, and tells him thanks a lot. Xiaoyong casually strolls down the ruined streets with Captain Li and his ragged group of survivors. When they ask if his trip out to Jinyu Mansion is to find someone important, Xiaoyong gives a quick nod to confirm it. Old Song immediately kills the mood, bluntly warning him that his target is probably already dead. Captain Li chimes in, making things even bleaker by mentioning a group of utterly ruthless thugs currently holed up in the Biu Mountain Villa. He explains that these guys make it a habit to actively hunt and execute other survivors just for fun. Honestly, starting a post-apocalyptic turf war when we literally just lost running water shows you are running on a single brain cell. Suddenly, a zombie violently ambushes the group. Captain Li draws his weapon and drops one with a clean shot, but the loud gunfire instantly echoes through the quiet streets. It immediately attracts a massive, terrifying horde of infected. Realizing they are completely cornered, Captain Li frantically spots an abandoned blue bus nearby and screams for everyone to get inside for defense. Inside the bus, Captain Li is desperately struggling to pull the heavy doors shut against the swarming horde. Without breaking a sweat, Xiaoyong steps up and effortlessly slams the steel doors shut using only a single hand. Captain Li is completely shocked by the insane display of raw, superhuman physical power. Xiaoyong does not give him a second to process it, casually suggesting they just smash the windows and fight the horde head-on. Captain Li starts sweating, panicking because his handgun barely has any ammunition left for a prolonged firefight. Right as the panic sets in, Xiaoyong reaches into his space ring and pulls out a massive, heavy combat crossbow. He hands it directly to Captain Li, keeping a straight face and claiming he just casually found it lying around earlier. Finding military-grade artillery casually sitting on the sidewalk is some heavy main character luck, but you do not question a free weapon drop in the apocalypse. They hold the line, brutally clearing out the zombies until the streets are finally quiet. As they step out of the blood-soaked bus, Young Zixuan is already beating a zombie's skull in, smugly remarking that it is no coincidence they survived because they are clearly the children of fate. Meanwhile, back at the secure fortress, things are taking a very dark turn. Yiming aggressively steps up and volunteers to pull guard duty for the entire night. Xiao Kai raises an eyebrow, questioning why he is suddenly so incredibly eager to work. Yiming instantly snaps at him, viciously telling him to mind his own business. Grandpa Li steps in, completely misreading the room. He warmly commends Yiming for his bravery and dismisses the rest of the exhausted team to get some rest. He gives Yiming one simple instruction, telling him to stay vigilant and wake them up immediately if anything goes wrong. But late that night, the absolute worst-case scenario unfolds. Trusting the guy who was literally plotting to molest your grandchild yesterday, and to give him guard duty is messing with your base defense harder than I used to do in Clash of Clans. Under the cover of total darkness, Yiming quietly sneaks right into Grandpa Li's bedroom while the old man sleeps. He is fully committed to his betrayal, coldly plotting to steal the weapons storage key and execute his violent takeover before Xiaoyong ever makes it back. And the absolute worst-case scenario officially pops off. Grandpa Li suddenly wakes up and catches Lu Yiming red-handed trying to steal the weapons key. Instead of playing it cool, Yiming just straight up punches the elderly man right in the face and books it down the corridor. Punching a senior citizen who gave you a free place to sleep during the apocalypse is exactly the kind of bitch behavior that gets you cancelled in any timeline. Shanshan, Zhang Qi, and Xiao Kai hear the commotion and immediately give chase. Desperate to create a distraction, Yiming sprints straight into the infirmary to unleash the mutating Chun Chong. But he is completely horrified to discover that Chun Chong's restraint bandages are already loose, and the fully turned zombie is highly aggressive. The pursuing group arrives just in time to witness Yiming's sheer recklessness. Because this absolute clown stole the warehouse key, they are completely deprived of their weapons and forced to fight a rabid monster barehanded. Zhang Qi heroically steps up and violently tackles Chen Chong directly from behind. With Xiao Kai and Shanshan jumping in to help, the three of them desperately wrestle the thrashing zombie back into the room and slam the door shut. Wrestling your mutated best friend back into a hospital bed is definitely not how anyone expected to spend their weekend. But just as they catch their breath, Yiming suddenly ambushes them from the shadows. He is holding a scoped rifle that he just swiped from the armory. Holding the entire group at gunpoint, he coldly orders them to march into a back room. Zhang Qi furiously confronts him, screaming at him for betraying the literal savior who pulled them out of hell. Yiming bitterly retorts that Xiaoyong's high and mighty attitude will only turn them all into lifelong slaves. Grandpa Li spits back, condemning Yiming as a wolf that can never be tamed. Yiming completely ignores the old man. But inside the locked infirmary, the rare mutated specimen Chen Chong is quietly watching and listening to every single word of this betrayal. Meanwhile, back in the ruined city, Xiaoyong finally approaches the final intersection before Jinyu Mansion. Captain Li stops him and delivers a grim warning, explaining that the complex layout ahead is absolutely ideal for hidden rovers to ambush him. He advises Xiaoyong to safely return to the Rongxiang Garden Community Building 3 via the side gate once he finds his people. Xiaoyong thanks him for the intel and heads straight into the pitch-black community, where the power is totally out, cell signals are dead, and rovers are everywhere. Watching him walk into the darkness, Old Song starts feeling deeply guilty about letting the kid go in alone. Captain Li immediately shuts that down, bluntly stating that following him into a potential zombie horde would just be pure suicide. Inside the mansion, things are getting incredibly dark. Yang Tao and his scummy thugs automatically assume Shengzhe is already dead and start violently plotting to assault his terrified wife. They casually discuss sick plans to tie her up just so she cannot commit suicide during the attack. Being this utterly evil when the world is literally ending makes me wonder if they are bigger monsters than those zombies. But right as these absolute monsters prepare to make their move, one of them glances out the window. He freezes, completely stunned to see the entire courtyard absolutely littered with freshly slaughtered zombies. Xiaoyong has officially breached the residential complex, and he is coming for blood. We cut to one of the thugs who just spotted the pile of dead zombies outside the mansion. He wanders over to the door to check if someone is staging a rescue attempt. He doesn't even get to finish his thought before he is instantly beheaded right at the threshold. Inside Jinyu Mansion, the situation is absolutely sickening. The thugs are brutally abusing Xiaoli, relentlessly threatening her with violence. Her young son, Zhe, bravely steps up to defend his mom, warning the goons that his father will absolutely never forgive them. One of the heartless thugs just laughs and violently strikes the kid straight to the ground. Suddenly, little Zhe looks up and sees a terrifying silhouette looming in the doorway. He freezes in fear, but the shadow steps forward, revealing it is just Xiaoyong. Xiaoyong looks down at the bruised kid and casually asks if his dad is Zhang. She nods yes. Inside the main room, Yang Tao and his scummy men are still aggressively beating Xiaoli. Without a second of hesitation, Xiaoyong violently kicks the heavy door wide open. The thug closest to the door turns around and actually thinks the kid kicked it open, casually remarking that the boy has some serious leg strength. Right as the thug finishes his sentence, his head is instantly sliced clean off his shoulders, matching his buddy at the front door. Yang Tao stands there completely confused. Suddenly, a massive hand clamps directly onto his forehead. Xiaoyong effortlessly lifts Yang Tao and violently throws him completely across the room like a discarded rag doll. Using his physically enhanced strength, Xiaoyong delivers an immense, blunt force kick that instantly neutralizes the last remaining thug. Meanwhile, back at the supposedly secure fortress, the betrayal is in full swing. Yiming is holding the unarmed survivors hostage at gunpoint, aggressively demanding they move into the back room. Grandpa Li quietly whispers to the terrified group, telling them to just do as he says for now while he tries to quickly think of a plan. Sensing their hesitation, Yiming sneers. He arrogantly decides he needs to establish his absolute dominance through ruthless decisiveness. He aims his stolen rifle right at the old man, preparing to execute him on the spot. But right before Yiming can pull the trigger, a chilling metallic clanking echoes from the infirmary. To everyone's absolute disbelief, the door handle turns. Chun Chong actually manages to use the key to unlock the heavy door all by himself. The system wasn't lying. Chun Chong exhibits a rare, advanced state of zombie cognitive mutation, retaining the motor skills required to actually operate a physical key. Recognizing the massive, terrifying threat of a zombie that can literally unlock doors, Yiming panics. He aims his gun right at the mutating monster and pulls the trigger. Click. The weapon completely jams, leaving this absolute clown completely defenseless. Chun Chong lunges forward with terrifying speed, viciously mauling Yiming as the traitor screams desperately for help. The rest of the survivors stand completely frozen, watching in absolute horror. They watch Yiming get violently dragged down to the floor by the mutated creature, utterly stunned by Chun Chong's sudden, terrifying display of intelligence. Chun Chong drags Yiming inside the infirmary, locks the door and throws the key outside, stunning everyone. Inside Jinyu Mansion, Zhang Xiaoyong stands menacingly over the bound and battered thugs. He looks down at Zhang Shengzhe's young son, Zhe, and coldly calls the kid forward. Despite Xiaoli desperately pleading for her son's innocence, Xiaoyong literally hands the young boy a heavy combat dagger. He looks the kid dead in the eye and declares that from now on, only he can protect his mother. Xiaoyong commands him to gather his courage right now and execute these beasts. Forcing a literal child to catch a body for character development is peak anime energy, but you honestly cannot argue with the results. Stealing his resolve through heavy tears, the young boy lets out a raw scream and violently stabs the thugs. Panting over the bleeding bodies, he is quickly embraced by his sobbing mother, who affectionately calls him Xiao Shui. He looks up with wide eyes and asks Xiaoyong if his father is really dead. Upon hearing the brutal truth, Xiao Shui drops the bloody dagger and just weeps endlessly into his mother's arms. Xiaoyong escorts the traumatized duo outside, walking right past a massive, gory pile of slaughtered rovers. When the boy stares at the battlefield of clean cuts and wonders aloud what kind of powerful, terrifying creature could have done this, Xiaoyong simply replies that he did. Flexing your solo KD ratio to a newly orphaned kid is objectively hilarious. Xiaoyong then turns to Xiaoli and asks for exact directions to Building 8 over in Banyan Garden. Meanwhile, over at Banyan Garden, things are going terribly. Captain Li and his civilian survivor group are completely cornered inside Building 8 by 7 heavily armed thugs. The arrogant thugs are outside aggressively demanding they surrender all their supplies and hand over every single woman under the age of 40. Inside the building, panic spreads like wildfire among the trapped survivors. Captain Li firmly warns everyone that these thugs are absolute beasts who will spare no one, except maybe Yu Yueran and Hao Fong. He sharply instructs his crew to hold the line and guard the hallway while he keeps a close monitor on the stairs. Outside, the thug leader orders his men to cut off the building's water supply to slowly force them out. Trying to siege an apartment complex by turning off the tap water is just dumb. Just kick the door in. Seriously, feed that man to the zombies. Watching this entire standoff from a safe distance, young Xiao Shui looks up and asks Xiaoyong if these people are bad. Xiaoyong nods, confirming they are the exact same type of absolute bullies who just targeted him and his mother. Suddenly, a devastating, explosive attack rips right through the courtyard, instantly shooting down one of the thugs. The terrified survivors inside hear the massive blast echo through the walls. The remaining thugs outside completely panic, looking around wildly and demanding to know exactly who is out there in the shadows. Captain Lee carefully peeks outside through the barricades. His jaw drops as he sees Xiaoyong casually walking straight toward the building, gun in hand, ruthlessly shooting the thugs down one by one like a complete raid boss. Inside Banyan Garden, an absolute shootout explodes into chaos. Xiaoyong steps into the crossfire and systematically drops the thugs one after another like he is speedrunning a tutorial level. The last remaining thug hides behind cover with a handgun, foolishly assuming Xiaoyong is out of ammunition. He jumps out for an ambush, but Xiaoyong casually steps aside. Xiaoyong dodges the bullet like a professional. Then he grabs the thug's arm, forcibly folds the guy's own gun back against his neck, and pulls the trigger for him. Making a guy shoot himself with his own weapon is a level of disrespect you just cannot recover from. Xiaoyong pushes straight into the building itself. A few desperate thugs rush him with melee weapons, but thanks to his massive physical augmentation, he makes incredibly quick work of them. With the threat entirely neutralized, Xiaoyong calls the terrified survivors out of hiding, receiving instant, joyful praise from Little Zhe. A system notification suddenly pings in his vision. He just unlocked a brand new task to recruit 5 survivors from Rongxiang Gardens for a solid 25 points. Captain Lee steps up, checking the bodies, and identifies the dead thugs as the notorious beasts from Baikuishan villas down in the south. Xiaoyong narrows his eyes, strongly suspecting this is the exact same settlement where his toxic ex Cui Jing and her coward boyfriend Li Shuxiong holed up in his past life. Xiaoyong instructs Captain Lee to strip the dead thugs and salvage all their handguns. Then, he completely shocks the captain by handing over his own personal rifle along with 5 fully loaded magazines. He assures Captain Lee this military-grade hardware will keep them protected against any future attacks, promising to return in a few days to safely relocate everyone to his eastern base. Giving away an assault rifle in the apocalypse is the ultimate love language. To provide a little more context, Captain Lee calls over 2 survivors, Lu Chao and Chen Jie, who recently fled from the south. They confirm that Baikuishan is a massively resourceful, heavily armed gang totally dominating the southern sector. Satisfied with the intel, Xiaoyong bids the group farewell and heads out. The scene cuts to the Baikuishan stronghold, an absolutely horrifying base where literal dead bodies are casually hanging from the exterior walls. Inside, the faction leader, Wan, is ruthlessly berating his subordinate, Xiao Li, for his utter lack of results. Alongside their associate Suji Yi, the villains start plotting a violent raid to seize the massive supply stash over at Jinyu Mansion. But their little evil boardroom meeting is abruptly interrupted. A panicked messenger bursts through the door. The entire 7-man hit squad they sent to Rongxiang Gardens has been completely wiped out. Xiao Li is absolutely stunned, refusing to believe that regular, starving civilians managed to defeat his heavily armed men. Furious and totally humiliated, he screams at an underling named Taozi, ordering him to immediately assemble every single piece of armed personnel for a massive, all-out assault. Jiang Xiaoyong finally rolls back up to his fortified base with Xiaoli and her young son. Right as he steps through the heavy steel gates, the system chimes in to confirm the successful completion of his rescue mission. He scores a sweet 25 points, bringing his current stash up to 36. Shanshan runs up to warmly welcome him back, but Xiaoyong immediately scans the room and notices Yiming is missing. Xiaoyong casually remarks that it was exactly as expected. Shanshan looks at him in shock, asking if he actually knew Yiming was going to betray them all along. Xiaoyong just cuts her off. He orders Zhang Qi to take Xiaoli and her son to a safe room, and then strictly instructs everyone to gather together. First Xiaoyong examines an weapon and then Zhang Qi picks it up, the heavy-scoped rifle that Yiming used to ambush them, expecting it to be highly lethal. He pops the magazine and is completely surprised to find it loaded entirely with rubber bullets. As they step into the room, Xiaoyong points at the massive zombie in the corner and calmly explains that Chun Chong is no ordinary monster. He reveals a previous test he ran on the bound, mutating Chun Chong. Xiaoyong had looked the zombie in the eye and told him to blink 3 times if he understood him. Chun Chong immediately blinked 3 times. Taking it a step further, Xiaoyong asked him to blink the answer to a basic multiplication problem. Without hesitating, the zombie blinked exactly 6 times. Xiaoyong explains that people infected by these otherworldly sources actually have a tiny chance of becoming rare mutants, retaining high intelligence and most of their past memories. Back in the present, Chun Chong is aggressively stepping over Yiming's battered body. Xiaoyong calmly stops his mutated friend and just directs him to dispose of the trash already. As Chun Chong drags Yiming out, Zhang Qi watches in disbelief. He asks out loud if Chun Chong really remembers everything, and more importantly, if he remembers him. In response, The towering mutant lunges forward and playfully goes for Zhang Qi's balls. Zhang Qi winces but smiles, remarking that his friend's hands are still incredibly annoying, fully confirming he truly remembers everything. Getting physically assaulted by your zombie best friend as a nostalgic greeting is the exact kind of brotherhood we love to see. Securing his new mutated buddy triggers the mutant companion achievement, dropping another 10 points into Xiaoyong's account and bringing his balance to 46. Later in his room, Xiaoyong browses the system store and spots a newly unlocked level 2 black tech supply box. It costs a massive 50 points, which is just slightly out of his budget. Instead, he happily drops 5 points each on a level 1 life-saving aid box and an arm deterrence box. The life-saving box gives him an otherworldly infection inhibitor, a clutch item that can actually stop a fresh bite from turning into a full-blown mutation. The arm deterrence box drops a massive, high-powered Barrett anti-material sniper rifle loaded with 10 rounds. Nothing says peaceful negotiation like a 50 caliber sniper rifle that can shoot through an engine block. The very next day, Xiaoyong first takes his survival mates out in the fortress ground for shooting practice and states everybody has to do shooting practice at least 1 hour a day. After saying this, he turns toward Shenghua and says start preparing extra rooms. He is planning to house the new survivors he intends to recruit. Xiaoyong fires up the heavy bus he found on road and drives back toward the city, bringing his mutant friend Chun Chong along for the ride. He looks at Chun Chong and tells him he can take his heavy muzzle off while they are alone in the vehicle. But he strictly warns him to keep it on at Yongxiang Garden so they do not absolutely terrify the local civilians. Meanwhile, down south at the Baikuishan stronghold, things are escalating fast. Chief Li violently assembles his heavily armed forces in the back of a pickup truck. Still absolutely furious over his wiped-out squad, he screams at his men, ordering an all-out assault to completely conquer Yongxiang Garden. The Baikuishan raiders, led entirely by boss Xiao Li, aggressively pull up to Banyan Garden Building 8 in a battered pickup truck. Inside the building, Captain Li instantly spots them from a window. He turns to his terrified survivors, strictly ordering them to stay calm, stick directly to the plan, and take up their defensive positions. He grabs his gear and heads straight up to the rooftop, giving them one final warning to absolutely not underestimate these raiders. Even with the heavy weapons Xiaoyong gifted them, the raiders are still heavily armed and massively outnumber them. Outside, the arrogant raiders advance, and boss Xiao Li ruthlessly orders his men to just start blasting at the windows. A relentless barrage of bullets completely shatters the glass, forcing the screaming survivors to desperately duck for cover. Right on cue, Captain Li is perfectly positioned up on the terrace. Down below, boss Xiao Li smugly grabs a megaphone and yells a mocking hey. His little villain monologue is instantly interrupted by a precise, devastating sniper shot that blows one of his thugs' heads clean off. Before they can even process the blood splatter, another heavy round strikes a second raider directly in the leg. Boss Xiao Li is completely and utterly shocked. He realizes his intel was absolute garbage. He thought these starving civilians only had 4 measly handguns, but they are clearly packing a high-powered rifle. Fumbling your raid intel this badly is exactly why you always double-check the group chat before rushing the enemy base. Panicking, Xiao Li violently orders his men to find cover and calls for an immediate retreat. The remaining raiders frantically scramble back to their pickup truck, but Captain Li drops another one dead, right, before he can even climb inside, leaving boss Xiao Li completely pinned down. He nervously waits it out, fully believing the shooter must have finally run out of ammo, and makes a desperate sprint for the retreating truck. But Captain Li is an absolute professional. He quickly reloads the rifle and ruthlessly picks off one more thug with a flawless headshot as they flee. Meanwhile, Xiaoyong is casually driving his massive blue bus toward the complex. He spots the battered raiders fleeing in their truck, but completely ignores them, choosing to focus strictly on his points-generating recruitment mission. Upon arriving at the blood-soaked courtyard, he sends his mutant zombie buddy Chun Chong out ahead to handle any random stragglers. Connecting the dots, he easily deduces that the speeding, bullet-riddled truck he just passed on the road definitely belonged to the retreating raiders. He looks around, grinning as he notes that the automatic rifle he left behind clearly came in extremely handy. He firmly instructs the mutant to just meet him at the bottom of Building 8 once he is finished. Chun Chong excitedly growls while standing over a dead raider's corpse, and Xiaoyong casually gives him permission to feed. Xiaoyong smoothly walks into the building. Jiang Xiaoyong casually strolls through a fresh pile of ventilated hitmen like it is just another Tuesday morning. Above him, survivors stick their heads out the window, frantically shouting his name. Captain Li marches down looking like he just won a high-stakes video game tournament. The cop brags that his retired marksman skills made absolute quick work of the raiders, proving that giving a trained veteran a high-tier military rifle is the ultimate apocalypse life hack. Before anyone can even celebrate their easy victory, a bone-chilling roar shatters the quiet air. Captain Lee instantly panics, raising his weapon and screaming that zombies are attacking. Xiaoyong just smirks, telling him to relax because that nightmare creature is actually on their payroll. In walks Chun Chong, looking terrifying enough to make anyone mess their pants. Captain Lee nearly loses his mind, asking if Xiaoyong can literally command the undead. But Xiaoyong orders everyone onto the bus while he explains. He tells Chun Chong to quickly finish snacking on the 6 dead raiders and meet them inside. While the engine idles, the survivors watch through the glass in absolute disbelief, as Chun Chong casually straps a tactical muzzle onto his own face. Zixuan whispers that the zombie actually looks pretty cool. Xiaoyong chuckles, letting him know that the mutated giant can hear every single word. Chun Chong boards the vehicle, making the entire bus tilt dramatically under his sheer weight. He clumsily hands Xiaoyong a set of keys, slurring his words. Xiaoyong realizes that after eating 6 fresh corpses, Chun Chong is evolving further and regaining human speech. Meanwhile, over at the Bichue Mountain Villa, absolute chaotic crime syndicate drama is popping off. Li Shuxiong kneels, desperately begging Boss Lin for mercy. He swears a random small-town cop suddenly pulled heavy automatic rifles out of thin air. Kai scoffs, kicking the useless minion across the room for making up pathetic excuses. But behind Boss Kai's real plan was to take over. Seeing that Li Shuxiong lost his best men, they decide to steal his supplies and take the woman by their side. Li Shuxiong storms into his private room, slamming things around like a frustrated toddler. Cui Jing asks what went wrong, but Shuxiong is utterly terrified. He orders her to pack everything because they are sneaking out at midnight. Even the arrogant mob boss knows his time is about to be over soon. Back at the T-City base, the bus drives straight into Xiaoyong's massive fortress. The rescued survivors step out with their jaws touching the concrete, realizing they just moved into a luxury doomsday paradise. The system screen flashes in Xiaoyong's sight. Mission completed for recruiting survivors, dropping a sweet bonus that boosts his balance to 66 points. Xiaoyong turns to Chun Chong with a predatory smile, announcing that tomorrow night they are visiting the Bichue Mountain Villa to settle some unresolved cross-time grudges. Xiaoyong sits on his bed, immediately burning 50 hard-earned points on a shiny level 2 high-tech supply crate. As the glowing box starts to unlock, he wishes for something good. Jiang Xiaoyong cracks open that shiny level 2 high-tech supply crate, and out pops a massive stamina enhancement potion. Boosting his stats by 20 full points, he jams the needle straight into his arm, instantly surging his stamina to a ridiculous 33 points, making him 6 times stronger than any regular human. To test his insane new superhuman reflexes, Xiaoyong spots a random mosquito buzzing through the air, snatching the bug right out of midair with 2 fingers like an absolute martial arts grandmaster. At dusk, Xiaoyong steps out to the bus garage with Chun Chong by his side. Captain Lee approaches him, asking if they are really heading to the south side of the city tonight. Xiaoyong confirms the hit squad mission, but before leaving, he hands Captain Lee a brand new job. Since Captain Lee is a former military sharpshooter, Xiaoyong officially appoints him as the chief weapons instructor to train all the survivors back at the fortress. Captain Lee gives an eager thumbs up, promising to turn those rookies into dead shots. With his base secured, Xiaoyong calls Chun Chong onto the bus, and they tear out of the fortress gates into the dark night. Meanwhile, over at the Bichue Mountain Villa, absolute snake energy is unfolding. Shuxiong and his bodyguards try pulling a stealthy midnight exit, but suddenly, headlights flash and Dong Su cuts off their escape route with a full armed escort. Shuxiong sweats profusely, lying through his teeth that they were just taking a casual night ride to raid Rongxiang Garden. Dong Su just laughs in his face, telling Shuxiong that his mouth is way too stubborn for his own good. Dong Su presents them a boy of their subordinate, but Shuxiong refuses to recognize him. Dong Su is done with this bullshit, so he and his men shoot Shuxiong's men, leaving only him. Dong Su points toward the idling car. Boss Lee looks inside and his heart drops. Sitting comfortably in the passenger seat is his girlfriend Cui Jing, smirking right back at him. Dong Su reveals that Cui Jing already spilled the beans on Boss Lee's secret escape plot hours ago. Boss Lee completely loses his mind, screaming at Cui Jing for being a traitorous bitch, but Dong Su's henchmen instantly tackle him to the pavement. Dong Su decides to make a brutal example out of him. The guards loop a thick rope around Boss Lee's neck, hoisting him straight up onto the villa main entrance gate. Boss Lee dangles in the air, gasping for breath as his former allies leave him to choke. Just as Shuxiong meet his makers, the Blue City bus rolls up the street. Xiaoyong and Chun Chong stroll up, Looking at the hanging mob boss, Xiaoyong sighs in disappointment, mocking Shuxiong for being a pathetic dog who could not even survive his own crew. But Xiaoyong is not about to let his target die so easily. With a quick flick of his wrist, Xiaoyong throws a razor-sharp blade, cleanly slicing the rope. Shuxiong slams onto the concrete, turned into a zombie. Xiaoyong grabs him by the hair, holding him down while smirking viciously. He tells the broken mob boss that since his ending is so pitiful, Xiaoyong is going to use him to exact ultimate revenge on the entire villa. Meanwhile upstairs, Cui Jing is handcuffed to the bed in black lace lingerie, whining to Boss Su to untie her after doing such a great job. Boss Su smirks, climbing on top of her, saying this is a good enough reward for her, while Kai is wondering about the noise outside. Inside the master bedroom, Boss Su is busy enjoying his reward with Cui Jing, when suddenly Kai notices something is wrong. But it's too late. Xiaoyong is already behind him like a death reaper. Xiaoyong slit Kai's throat in the blink of an eye. Before the Su can even react, Zhang Xiaoyong throws the cold blade directly against Boss Su's throat. Boss Su drops to the floor, getting a quick death. Xiaoyong turns his icy glare toward Cui Jing, sarcastically asking if she is having fun. Then wonders aloud what her mob boss ex Li Shuxiong would think if he saw her right now. Before Cui Jing can even process the name, the bedroom door bursts open, and strides zombie boss Li roaring like a rabid beast. The infected mob boss lunges straight onto the bed, sinking his fangs deep into Cui Jing as her desperate screams echo through the hallway. Xiaoyong casually walks downstairs, leaving the toxic exes to their bloody reunion. Out in the courtyard, Xiaoyong points to a pile of fresh corpses, telling Chun Chong to go ahead and snack on them. To Xiaoyong's surprise, Chun Chong slurs out actual coherent words, proving his zombie brain is evolving at a terrifying speed. Deep inside the villa basement, a group of terrified survivors is locked behind reinforced doors. An evil chef in a white uniform holds a butcher cleaver, while his thugs pick out human livestock for dinner. A ruthless guard grabs a young girl, declaring that the kid's meat is soft and tender, but the chef just scoffs, complaining that the kid is way too skinny and choosing a plumper target instead. A boy named Zai Zai. Zai Zai's mother cries uncontrollably, begging on her knees for them to spare her son. Suddenly, a massive gunshot blast echoes from the hallway. The chef freezes, realizing only their head boss owns a shotgun. Thinking Boss Li has returned, the chef forces a nervous thug to go open the door. But as soon as the thug turns the handle, a blue mutated hand reaches through, yanking him into the dark. Panicked guards start firing their handguns blindly at the doorway. That is when Chun Chong leaps down from the ceiling like a dark superhero. Chun Chong moves like a blur. He dodges every bullet, slicing through the thugs and flattening the evil chef in a matter of seconds. The rescued captives tremble in shock, realizing the terrifying mutant did not attack them. Xiaoyong steps into the room, praising Chun Chong for being so fast even while heavily restrained. Chun Chong raises his clawed hand, slurring through his mask that keeping the chains on actually makes him look much cooler. The survivors stare in absolute disbelief, realizing they were just rescued by a zombie that can actually talk. Zhang Xiaoyong steps up to the trembling mother and her child, gently reassuring them that Chun Chong will not bite. The terrified little girl gasps, swearing that Chun Chong is a super monster that slaughters without blinking. Xiaoyong raises an eyebrow, asking if she has ever seen another creature like him before. She reveals that she spotted one lurking near the East City Decoration Market. Xiaoyong is completely stunned that rare mutants are already spawning so close to Old Tea City, realizing the apocalypse timeline is accelerating much faster than he planned. Xiaoyong turns to Chun Chong, explaining that rare mutants possess varying levels of human rationality and memory. This makes them far more efficient hunters than regular mindless zombies, but most turn hyper-aggressive and unstable. Chun Chong nervously fidgets through his gas mask, asking what will happen to his own mind. Xiaoyong pats his shoulder reassuringly, promising that as long as he stays by his side, he will never let him lose his sanity. Xiaoyong asks the survivors if anyone else is trapped in the villa area. They explain that dozens of people are locked inside the sales office, while others were dragged to the basement. Xiaoyong follows them down into a dark corridor, only to discover grisly butcher tables covered in human remains. He realizes the villa gang was kidnapping survivors daily to harvest meat. But since the body count is far too high for human consumption, Xiaoyong deduces a darker truth. Those monsters were actually feeding meat to zombies. The survivors inform him that the main holding cell is at the sales office near the south gate. Suddenly, Xiaoyong's system screen flashes, activating a brand new series mission called Rebuild Utopia. The objective is simple: rescue survivors, expand his community score, and rake in massive system reward points. Over at the sales office, two clueless guards stand watch outside. One guard complains about gunshots in the distance, while the other casually sighs that the bosses are just using live captives for target practice. Before they can finish their conversation, Chun Chong drops from the sky like a nightmare, instantly squashing the guards into the pavement. Inside the locked holding room, several women deprived of their clothes huddle together in panic. They hear the brutal beatdown outside, screaming for the intruders to stay away. The door handle slowly turns, revealing Xiaoyong standing calmly in the doorway. He tells everyone to step outside. The rescued women practically weep with joy, gladly agreeing to work for Xiaoyong in exchange for a safe haven. Xiaoyong packs all the survivors onto his bus and speeds straight back to the T-City fortress. The guards on the balcony cheer as the bus pulls up, but Xiaoyong stops outside the main gates. He addresses the new recruits, explaining that while they cannot live inside the inner fortress yet, they will stay in fortified temporary cabins and renovated buildings in Old T-Town. The survivors bow in deep gratitude, hailing Xiaoyong as their ultimate savior. Meanwhile, back at the abandoned Bichue Mountain Villa, a fierce female gang boss in a red jacket and fishnets pulls up in a massive supply truck. She growls in frustration, wondering why nobody is answering her radio calls. She kicks open the villa doors with her lieutenant, only to find Zombie Boss Lee and his crew chopped to pieces on the bloody floor. Zombie Boss Lee lunges at her with a rabid roar, but she slashes his head off without breaking a sweat. Her lieutenant nervously notes that Zhang Qingwen is dead, asking how they will handle their meat supply now. She draws a lethal combat knife, coldly promising that anyone who messed with her territory is about to be hunted down and slaughtered. Sister Kuei steps out of the ruined villa, where her lieutenant reports that not a single living person is left in the entire complex. When she asks about the human meat, her man confirms it is all still intact. Sister Kuei orders her crew to load the heavy body bags onto their massive supply truck. She looks down at the deep tire tracks carved into the asphalt, wondering what kind of monster could have wiped out an entire armed cartel in a single night. Meanwhile, back at the T-City fortress, Zhang Xiaoyong kicks back on the watchtower balcony, staring at his floating system screen. His current community score sits at 2, making him realize that expanding his base population is the fastest way to farm massive reward points. Looking down at the sprawling open land, Xiaoyong chuckles. Feeling grateful to the snobbish real estate mogul he scammed before the apocalypse. Suddenly, Xiaoyong remembers the terrifying rare mutant mentioned by the rescued survivors. He goes with Zhang Qi and Shanshan in the temporary shelter of rescuers. There, Zai Zai's mother fells to her kneel and thank her son's savior. Xiaoyong gets a bit awkward. He also meets that young girl's mother from Decor City, reassuring her that they have everything under control, and gets details on the mutant she saw. She spills every detail in terror. Xiaoyong decides he is going to kill the mutant and the woman starts panicking saying it's suicide. Xiaoyong turns to Zhang Qi, ordering him to summon Brother Chong, so they can pay that new super monster a personal visit. Over at the Warenfa market in Decor City, a squad of scavengers marches into the dark shopping mall. A woman holding a heavy frying pan leads the pack alongside guys armed with axes and crowbars. One scavenger brags about finding a jackpot supermarket, while his buddy warns him not to get too optimistic since the place might be picked clean. Another scavenger laughs out loud, boasting that nobody else in the apocalypse has the guts and skills to move around freely like them. They push past the glass doors, finding rows of scavenged shelves. Suddenly, a loud noise rattles in the dark shadows. The frying pan woman nervously raises her weapon, calling out to check if anyone is there. Without warning, a small horde of hungry zombies bursts from the dark. The scavengers panic, swinging their crowbars and axes wildly, but they manage to chop down every single walker. The frying pan woman smirks, boasting that the fight was an absolute walk in the park. Her teammate agrees, noting that the main horde must have been lured away by previous survivors. Feeling invincible, the team ventures deeper into the store. They stumble upon intact shelves packed with canned goods, shouting in joy that they just struck a massive jackpot that will feed them for years. The woman spots a plush display bed, sprinting over and flopping onto the soft mattress. She declares that she is moving in permanently, while two male scavengers head out to the balcony to light a Zippo lighter for a smoke break. As one guy puffs his cigarette, he warns his buddy that an open mall is too hard to defend, but before he can finish his thought, multiple razor-sharp organic spikes skewer right through his chest, lifting his bleeding body into the air. A giant blue mutant monster with glowing red eyes and razor fangs sneers at the horrified survivor. The remaining smoker screams in absolute terror, sprinting back inside while yelling that a ghost is attacking. The blue spike monster speed blitzes like a demon, impaling and tiring other scavenger in half. The frying pan woman screams in horror, ordering a total retreat as the maniacal monster cackles that nobody escapes alive. She runs for her life toward the exit, panting heavily as the bright daylight comes into view. She screams that the exit is right there. But before she can take another step, a brutal crash knocks her to her knees, leaving her paralyzed in sheer terror. Inside the dark mall, the terrified woman gasps for air as a giant masked silhouette steps out of the shadows. But before she can faint from sheer terror, Zhang Xiaoyong and Zhang Qi casually step up right beside her. Xiaoyong takes one look at her face and instantly recognizes her as Ning Wanwan, the exact real estate saleswoman who sold him property back before the apocalypse hit. Before they can catch up on old times, the blue spike-skinned rare mutant cackles in the darkness, boasting that he wants to devour all of them. Xiaoyong asks Chun Chong if he can handle the monster solo, and Chun Chong slurs through his gas mask, agreeing to give it a shot. Chun Chong leaps into the air, clashing with the mutant in a massive burst of raw physical power. The enemy beast laughs like a psychopath, wondering if cannibalizing another mutant will speed up his own evolution. He speed blitzes Chun Chong with relentless fury, forcing Zhang Qi to panic, shouting that Brother Chong is losing the fight. Xiaoyong stays completely unfazed, observing that if they had left this creature to hunt for a few more days, it would have become totally unstoppable. Xiaoyong raises his hand, materializing a high-tech military assault rifle straight out of digital space using his space ring. Ning Wanwan shocked about the weapon coming out of thin air. Xiaoyong aims down the iron sights, telling Brother Chong that if he can pin the monster for just 1 second, he promises not to tease him later. Chun Chong instantly grabs the enemy mutant from up front in a crushing hand grip. The monster shrieks in rage, begging to be let go. But Xiaoyong pulls the trigger. A hail of armor-piercing rounds shreds straight through the monster's skull and chest, blasting its flesh into microscopic pieces. The mutated terror collapses onto the concrete, completely dead. Zhang Qi wipes the sweat from his forehead, nervously asking if the nightmare is finally over. Xiaoyong turns to Chun Chong, suggesting he eat the dead mutant to absorb its power and level up his stats. Suddenly, Xiaoyong's floating system screen chimes, granting him extra points for eliminating a major threat to the community. Not wanting to leave empty-handed, Xiaoyong raises his hand toward the supermarket shelves. With a flash of blue energy, hundreds of canned goods, box supplies, and entire inventory racks get sucked into his space ring. Zhang Qi yells in awe, asking what kind of insane magic he is witnessing, while Xiaoyong tells Chun Chong to vacuum up leftover corpses so they cannot reanimate. Meanwhile on the highway, Sister Kuei and her bearded lieutenant cruise toward the base in a luxury car. The lieutenant scopes out the fortress with binoculars, mocking the survivors for being poorly armed civilians hiding behind sturdy walls. Sister Kuei scoffs, assuming the previous cartel fell to simple zombie swarms. She laughs arrogantly, declaring that heaven delivered a brand new base right to her doorstep, and orders her man to head back to assemble a massive raid squad. At that exact moment, Xiaoyong drives his car down the opposite lane. Inside, Ning Wanwan celebrates learning that the fortress has hot showers and soft beds. Suddenly, Zhang Qi spots the approaching luxury car, telling everyone to stay alert. Xiaoyong locks eyes with Sister Kuei as their vehicles speed past each other, while the system flashes an urgent red warning screen for an impending enemy assault. Inside Xiaoyong's car, a system screen pops up with an urgent mission warning, granting 50 points to resist an incoming invasion. Xiaoyong narrows his eyes, realizing the luxury car that just sped past them was actually scouting his fortress. Once they arrive back at T-City Fortress, Xiaoyong goes to Shanshan, who was on the guard duty, asking if any strangers have been lurking around lately. Shanshan report that a suspicious vehicle passed by earlier without stopping, confirming Xiaoyong's worst fears. He immediately orders the Shanshan to assemble Uncle Shang, Old Li, and all base survivors for an emergency war council. Meanwhile, over at the south suburb coal plant, a radio broadcast crackles through the static, luring helpless refugees with false promises of food and shelter. A group of gullible survivors marches up to the gates, cheering in relief when a car pulls up. Out steps Sister Kuei in her signature red jacket and fishnets, flashing a seductive smile that makes the male refugees practically drool on themselves. She tells them to follow her crew inside on foot, and the leader of the refugees eagerly agrees, thinking he just hit the jackpot. Inside the massive industrial facility, the refugee leader makes a smooth excuse to step out to the bathroom. But Sister Kuei smirks, inviting him into the tiled restroom instead. The guy gets overly confident, acting creepy and bragging about his strength. Without a single word, Sister Kue slashes his throat in the blink of an eye. Blood splatters across the white tiles as the pervert collapses onto the floor. Sister Kue steps over his dying body, complaining about his pathetic quality, then orders her guards to drag out the rest. Outside the restroom, her gang has already slaughtered the entire refugee squad, leaving their lifeless bodies in pools of blood. Back at T-City Fortress, Xiaoyong gathers everyone around a massive wooden table. He warns the crowd that an unknown enemy is preparing a full-scale assault, and they could be attacked at any second. Xiaoyong suggests clearing out the unfinished building to the southeast, so they can relocate the refugees and prevent them from becoming useless cannon fodder. Morale surges as Shanshan and other survivors alongside her volunteer to fight. Even a young Zhe screams to join in. Wanwan also wanted to join in because the peer pressure. Xiaoyong approves the plan, leaving Uncle Shang and Old Li to guard the main base while he leads the strike team to clear the concrete building. Rifle fire echoes through the empty hallways as Xiaoyong and his squad shred every walker inside. After wiping out the undead, the new recruits cheer in triumph, declaring that they are ready to fight and contribute. Xiaoyong hands out walkie-talkies, ordering them to clean the area and prepare for coordinated defense. Meanwhile, at the coal plant, Sister Kue's cartel loads heavy crates of weapons and fuel drums onto supply trucks. A giant muscular brute named Number 2 stomps over, patting his stomach and roaring for human meat. Sister Kue reveals that Bichue Mountain was wiped out by a faction in the east suburb. She smiles viciously, declaring that tomorrow morning, she and Number 2 will lead a heavy assault squad to butcher them all. That night inside his private room, Xiaoyong opens the system store screen with 46 points in his balance. Spotting brand new level 2 supply crates for awakening powers and post-apocalypse farming, Xiaoyong smirks, burning 40 points to pull game-changing loot. Zhang Xiaoyong checks his system interface, unlocking the level 1 overload ability. This bad boy boosts his personal strength by 25%, pushing his physical stat over 40 points, which makes him 8 times stronger than an average human. Xiaoyong cracks his knuckles, eager to test out his insane physical power. But outside, the roaring engines of an enemy assault convoy shatter the peace. Sister Kue and her cartel speed down the highway toward T-City Fortress. Over the walkie-talkie, Sister Kue orders her men to run over any refugees outside, before using their armored vehicles as cover for suppressive fire. From the back seat, the brute named Number 2 roars in hunger, eager to slaughter and eat anything that moves. Up on the hidden fortress balcony, Xiaoyong asks Captain Li about his old sniper credentials. Captain Li boasts that as long as the wind is not too crazy, he can easily pop targets from 500 meters away. Satisfied with the answer, Xiaoyong has Zhang Qi haul up a heavy wooden crate. Captain Li nearly loses his mind when he opens it, pulling out a massive Barrett anti-material sniper rifle. Xiaoyong hands him 2 magazines, warning him that they only have 10 rounds total, so every single bullet needs to be a guaranteed kill. Suddenly, Shanshan spots the approaching raiders on her walkie-talkie, shouting for all units to prepare for battle. Captain Li scopes out the convoy. Kue's lieutenant, noticing the refugees outside the gate are completely gone. Sister Kue realizes they have been spotted, ordering her driver to press the gas pedal and charge directly at the front gate before the defenders can set up. Shanshan screams for the defenders to open fire, raining a deadly hail of bullets down on the incoming vehicles. One raider car flips violently, exploding into a fireball on the asphalt. Sister Kue panics, barking orders for everyone to hug the fortress wall to stay inside the balcony blind spot. Number 2 steps up to the heavy metal garage gate, revving a massive power saw, roaring maniacally as bright sparks fly in every direction. Shanshan and Zhang Qi lean over the railing, unleashing heavy rifle fire to stop him. Sister Kue and her thugs return fire with submachine guns, hitting a fortress guard named Xiao Kai and pinning the defenders behind the concrete wall. Inside the garage, survivors panic as sparks cut straight through the main gate. But Xiaoyong remains completely unbothered, calmly pressing his radio earpiece to tell everyone to relax, because he already has a master plan. He steps out onto the upper walkway, watching Sister Kue arrogantly boast that these rookies are about to experience the true terror of an evolver. Number 2 wrenches the metal door open, trying to squeeze his giant body through the breach. Sister Kue orders her men to follow right behind him, completely unaware that Xiaoyong is already orchestrating their total annihilation. Xiaoyong speaks into his radio, giving Captain Li the ultimate green light. High up on the hidden ledge, Captain Li lies prone, aligning the crosshairs of the Barrett anti-material sniper rifle directly onto number 2's massive skull. Number 2 roars as he squeezes his giant body through the garage door gap. Base defenders fire their handguns point blank into his chest, but the bullets pop right back out as his flesh instantly regenerates. Old Lee gasps in terror, realizing the monster has a hyper-healing ability. Sister Kuei cackles behind her brute, boasting that these rookies are seeing a real evolver for the first time. Up on the balcony, Captain Lee aims the massive Barrett sniper rifle down his scope, warning that small guns will not work. So it is time to unleash the heavy artillery. Captain Lee pulls the heavy trigger. Boom! A massive 50 caliber anti-material round tears straight through number 2, obliterating his entire head instantly and sending his giant body crashing to the pavement. Sister Kuei and her raiders freeze in complete shock, unable to comprehend how a bunch of civilians got their hands on military-tier weaponry. Before the raiders can process their brute getting wiped out, Zhang Xiaoyong flanks them from the side entrance, opening fire with his assault rifle. Bullets riddle the raiders from behind, forcing Sister Kuei to scream in a panic that they are surrounded and need to retreat back to the vehicles. Sister Kuei looks back, locking eyes with Xiaoyong as he aims his golden rifle straight at her. Showing absolute sociopathic reflexes, Sister Kuei grabs one of her own henchmen, using him as a human shield as bullets shred his torso. Xiaoyong narrows his eyes, doubting if Sister Kuei is an evolver with superhuman reaction speed. Sister Kuei hurls the dead body at Xiaoyong and sprints for the escape SUV. Up on the ledge, Captain Lee locks his sniper scope onto her back, striking a dramatic pose while declaring that throughout heaven and earth, his Barrett is the only honored one. Bang! The Barrett fires a second time, blowing Sister Kuei's leg clean off at the thigh. She screams in agony, slamming onto the concrete. But her driver pulls up, dragging her bleeding body into the SUV and speeding away in a cloud of dust. Captain Lee groans in frustration for missing the kill shot, while Ning Wanwan asks over the radio if the cartel will return for revenge. Xiaoyong smirks calmly, declaring that he already knows their location. System notifications flash across his vision, completing the mission, boosting base morale, and bumping his balance up to 76 points. A new task immediately triggers, paying 50 points to launch a counter-assault and eradicate the cannibals. Xiaoyong commands the crew to treat the injured, disinfect the area, and store the enemy corpses in cold storage for Chan Chong's dinner. He then orders the guards to bring back the refugees from the nearby building, smiling as he prepares to splurge his massive point balance. Meanwhile, back at the coal plant, the lieutenants carry the peg-legged Sister Kuei inside. Instead of bringing her human meat as she demands, a thug looks down at her with a sinister smile. Sister Kuei screams at her men to execute him, but absolute silence fills the room. The thug laughs in her face, pointing out that she is crippled and number 2 is dead, making him the new boss. The entire gang surrounds Sister Kuei with vicious grins, ignoring her desperate pleas as the new leader raises his weapon to claim his prize. The mutinous raiders beat Sister Kuei into a bloody pulp, her desperate screams echoing across the concrete walls before she collapses lifelessly in a pool of blood. Outside the facility, one of the surviving thugs stands with his terrified sidekick. The sidekick accidentally calls him Third Master, instantly making the thug snap, forcing the poor minion to drop to his knees and apologize in a total panic. The minion nervously points out that Sister Kuei and number 2 are both dead, leaving their squad heavily weakened, asking what will happen if they encounter that terrifying tentacle mutant. The thug decides to abandon the coal plant entirely, ordering his remaining crew to flee toward the sheafing steel factory to seek refuge with a much bigger faction. Shortly after, Zhang Xiaoyong, Captain Lee, and Zhang Qi arrive outside the quiet coal plant. Xiaoyong tells everyone to stay low and sneak inside quietly, but they find the yard completely empty except for Sister Kuei's corpse lying on the dirt. Captain Lee realizes the raiders turned on their own leader and fled the scene. Zhang Qi asks Xiaoyong about the giant brute they fought earlier, wondering what an evolver actually is. Xiaoyong drops a disturbing bomb, revealing that the fastest way for humans to gain zombie-like superpowers is by eating human flesh. Captain Lee gasps in horror, asking if surviving the apocalypse requires becoming a cannibal. But Xiaoyong reassures them that eating people is not the only way. Xiaoyong pulls out glowing red exotic cores, explaining the hidden science of apocalypse mutations. Both evolvers and zombies are classified as mutants that require foreign energy to evolve, and while normal humans have meager energy spread across their flesh, evolvers and rare mutants condense that energy into solid cores. He adds that while mutants like Chun Chong can consume zombie flesh, normal humans will get infected. Suddenly, the system chimes in Xiaoyong's sight, rewarding him 50 points for clearing the cannibal stronghold and bumping his total balance to 126 points. Before Xiaoyong can even celebrate, a hyper-fast mutant sneaks up from the shadows. Xiaoyong sidesteps with lightning speed, cleanly slicing the monster with his combat knife. Xiaoyong extracts 2 glowing exotic cores from the creature, offering one to Captain Li. Captain Li resolves his fear, swallowing the core whole. Instantly, a surge of energy radiates through his body, boosting his physical strength to superhuman levels. Xiaoyong warns him that he is now an official evolver, but cautions him not to let the power go to his head. Meanwhile, Third Master and his sidekick arrive at the Sheafing Steel factory. The bald boss and his stylish female lieutenant greet them, asking what happened to Sister Kuei. Third Master lies through his teeth, claiming she died protecting them. The bald boss smirks, ordering his guards to escort Third Master's crew to a safe house. Inside the room, the sidekick panics, pointing out that the safe house has heavy iron bars like a prison cell. Suddenly, the guards slam the door open, ordering everyone into the main hangar. Surrounded by dozens of armed raiders, the female lieutenant twirls her hair, smirking that everyone knows Third Master assassinated his own boss. Third Master sweats profusely, desperately pleading that it is all a massive misunderstanding. Inside the Sheafing Steel factory hangar, Ling Jie with a cold smirk, telling Li Chang to let them know the reason of their death. He reveals that they visited the coal plant, finding their chief dead in the yard, while second boss was completely missing. The bald boss Big Peng slams his fist, yelling that he must have turned on his own crew when things went wrong. Third Master panics, backing away while screaming that they have zero evidence. But Big Peng laughs maniacally, mocking the idea of justice in a ruined world. Big Peng admits that without their former chief's powers, their squad is completely useless, and orders his guards to execute them all. A minion next to Third Master drops to his knees, frantically begging for mercy. He blabbers that an eastern settlement wiped out their bosses, and offers to lead the steel mill gang directly to them. Ling Jie asks about the enemy strength, and the snitching minion swears that while the Easterners have heavy weapons, they do not have a single evolver. Big Peng and Ling Jie take the intel, but order an immediate execution anyway. Big Peng worries about the Eastern threat, but Ling Jie advises against an immediate assault, suggesting they send stealth scouts first while evolving their own strength. Meanwhile, back at T-City Fortress, Xiaoyong sits in his private room with a bank of 126 points. He opens the system shop, burning 55 points on a level 2 black tech supply crate and a food crate. The loot drops 500 kilos of lotus root powder, 200 kilos of cocoa pies, and a game-changing physical enhancement serum. With the knock on door, Shanshan enters the room, reporting that the balcony guards just captured a suspicious intruder. Xiaoyong walks down to the main hallway, where Captain Li and Zhang Qi are pinning a man in overalls. The intruder smiles brightly, introducing himself as Su Axing from the West Wind Steel Mill. Uncle Song explains that West Wind is the largest steel facility in the southern suburbs. Su Axing claims his leader sent him to recruit survivors peacefully, but a fortress worker steps forward, handing Xiaoyong a detailed hand-drawn map of their base defenses. Xiaoyong activates his mind's eye radar, and a bright red hostility aura flashes over Su Axing's head. Xiaoyong instantly draws his pistol, pressing the barrel straight against the spy's forehead. He warns the intruder to drop the innocent act before he blows his brains across the floor. Su Axing sweats profusely, swearing he was just being cautious. Xiaoyong whispers to check if the spy saw Brother Chong, but Zhang Qi confirms he is still hidden. To everyone's absolute shock, Xiaoyong hands back the map and orders the guards to let the spy walk free. Su Axing bows frantically and sprints out the gates, thinking he just pulled off the ultimate escape. Little does he know, Xiaoyong watches him leave with a cold, predatory smirk, wondering exactly how many massive system reward points the entire West Wind Steel Mill is worth. 5 months later at the West Steel plant, workers push heavy piles of scrap metal, whispering nervously about another wave of mysterious disappearances. One worker gasps, asking if that urban legend monster is active again. Suddenly, suspicious noises rattle near the giant garbage pit. A brave worker creeps closer to investigate, but before he can even blink, a razor-sharp blade shoots straight through his mouth. Another worker screams in absolute terror, sprinting toward the guard post to report that Xiao Chun just got brutally executed by the tentacle man. The guard boss curses under his breath, grabbing his assault rifle and ordering all evolvers with escape abilities to follow him. They creep over the massive garbage pile with weapons drawn, only to find the area completely empty. The guards inspect the fresh footprints in the dirt, assuming the tentacle man caught his prey and ran. One guard groans that ever since Bichue Mountain and the southern coal plant got wiped out, the monster has been hunting exclusively in their territory. But the guard boss narrows his eyes, examining the ground and declaring that this fresh kill was definitely not the tentacle man. Meanwhile, back at T-City Fortress, Jiang Xiaoyong leans over the balcony, checking his floating system screen. His community score has surged to 38, proving his doomsday empire is thriving. Suddenly, Shanshan pulls up in a heavy SUV, cheering that they are back from their supply run. Xiaoyong leaps straight off the high balcony, landing smoothly on the pavement like a superhero. He asks how the hunting operation went, and Xiaoli proudly announces that her young son Xiao Shui took down a zombie all by himself. Xiaoyong smirks, ordering them to store the mutant cores. Just then, a brand new system mission titled Nemesis of Evil Volume 3 pops up, offering 80 points to eliminate threats and assist potential allies. Xiaoyong gathers his key leaders at the war table, calmly announcing that he is going to infiltrate West Steel Plant completely solo. Captain Li nearly chokes on his own spit, warning Xiaoyong that backup cannot reach him if things go south. Xiaoyong just chuckles, telling everyone to relax because with his current strength, even Brother Chong cannot scratch him. Over at West Steel, a top scout named Li Cheng bangs frantically on the inner office doors, demanding to report urgent news to the bosses. The gate guards refuse to let him through without permission, making Li Cheng suddenly snap and grab a guard by the throat. The choked guard gasps in terror, asking if he has lost his mind. Li Cheng snaps back to his senses and lets go, horrified that his violent emotions are spiraling out of control again. The inner office door clicks open, and the guards allow Li Cheng to step inside. Inside the private room, the seductive female leader Ling Jie, asking for his report. Li Cheng reveals that after inspecting the fresh kill site, he found a woman's footprints, proving there is a second killer hunting inside their base. Ling Jie tells him to keep quiet so the workers do not panic. Li Cheng walks out flustered, kicking himself for forgetting to ask his main question. Back inside, Ling Jie smiles darkly, noting that the killer was way too careless. Ling Jie turns around to reveal Big Peng wearing a blood-soaked apron, holding a butcher knife over a pile of human remains. Big Peng laughs like a total maniac, tossing chopped body parts into a trash bin, while telling Ling Jie that she can do the killing while he handles the delicious cleanup. Jiang Xiaoyong arrives outside the West Wind steel plant, cutting his hair short and smearing dirt across his face to blend in as a pathetic lone survivor. A guard spots him from the upper walkway, shouting for him to freeze and identify himself. Xiaoyong puts on a masterclass acting performance, trembling nervously as he claims his original group of 10 survivors was completely slaughtered by a zombie horde. The guard smirks, assuming Xiaoyong is weak prey, and Xiaoyong frantically waves his hands, begging to do any dirty work just to prove his usefulness. The guard chuckles, telling Xiaoyong to follow him for a test, while Xiaoyong smirks internally, realizing West Wind Steel is just as twisted as every other cartel. Before the guard can lure Xiaoyong to a secluded corner to rob him, Brother Li steps out, asking what is going on. The guard sweats, lying that he was just taking the survivor away for a routine body search. Xiaoyong sees right through the lie, knowing the guard was planning to murder him in private. Brother Li interrupts, ordering the search to happen right here in the open. He demands Xiaoyong hand over all his weapons, and Xiaoyong plays cautious, asking how he can trust they will not execute him inside. Brother Li calmly explains that people in the apocalypse can be ugly, but promises to let him leave if he refuses to disarm. Xiaoyong nods mentally, realizing Brother Li actually has some moral standards compared to the savages at coal plant. He turns over a basic hunting dagger, but Brother Li inspects the weapon, asking if Xiaoyong is an evolver. Xiaoyong feigns total confusion, admitting he feels much stronger lately. Brother Li leads him inside, locking him in a reinforced reception room that looks suspiciously like a prison cell. Moments later, the bald boss Big Peng enters, asking for his name. Xiaoyong coughs out a fake name, introducing himself as Zhang Yi. Big Peng asks if he is truly an evolver, and before Xiaoyong can answer, Big Peng throws a razor-sharp flying axe straight past Xiaoyong's ear. The blade buries itself deep into the concrete wall with a loud crash. Xiaoyong feigning sheer terror while shouting that throwing axes is extremely dangerous. Big Peng laughs maniacally, realizing Xiaoyong's lightning-fast reflexes prove he is indeed an evolver. Xiaoyong asks if he would have been killed if he were normal, and Big Peng admits a non-evolver's death is no loss. Big Peng then flares his terrifying energy aura, warning Xiaoyong that the secret to becoming an evolver must never spread. Big Peng speed blitzes across the room, trying to grab Xiaoyong by the throat. Xiaoyong dodges and brings out his razor-sharp blade against Big Peng, holding back from gutting the boss only because he needs to complete his 80-point system mission. Feeling the cold steel, Big Peng chuckles, letting go of Xiaoyong's throat. He praises Xiaoyong's quick reflexes, warning him never to challenge his authority. Xiaoyong obediently puts his knife away, while Big Peng orders his guards to clean up the new recruit and bring him to the meeting room. Big Peng introduces Zhang Xiaoyong under his fake name Zhang Yi to the rest of the Steel Mill High Command. Beside Big Peng stands the seductive female boss Huang Ling, along with 2 settlement officers named Li Chang and Huang Bin. Huang Ling assigns her younger brother Huang Bin to take Xiaoyong out on patrol, reminding the new recruit that he found the strongest base in the entire region, but must prove his worth if he wants to eat well. Xiaoyong obediently agrees to follow orders, stepping outside with Huang Bin to meet up with 2 other patrol guards named a Chong and a Xing. Xiaoyong instantly recognizes a Xing as Su Axing, the exact same spy scout he captured and released back at his Doomsday Fortress. A Xing squints at Xiaoyong, feeling like the dirty new guy looks strangely familiar, but completely fails to recognize him through his masterclass homeless disguise. As they march into the forest, Huang Bin warns Xiaoyong that only a select few know the secret to becoming an evolver. He brags that Big Peng, his cousin Xing, Huang Ling, her nephew Chong, and their inner family circle hold absolute power. So if the dark secret about eating human flesh ever leaks out, Xiaoyong will be executed on the spot. Xiaoyong casually asks about the other officer Li Chang, and Huang Bin scoffs that Li Chang is just a talented outsider who is way too strong for his own good. Huang Bin threatens that if Li Chang ever discovers the cannibal secret, both Li Chang and Xiaoyong will not live past the day. Xiaoyong nods mentally, realizing Big Peng and Huang Ling are deliberately withholding resources to suppress Li Chang and prevent him from taking over the base. Huang Bin leads the patrol squad to a grassy hill overlooking a small civilian settlement. He explains that 7 survivors have been building a peaceful community for days without a single evolver among them. Xiaoyong asks if they are going to hunt them, but Huang Bin laughs arrogantly, declaring that evolvers are at the top of the food chain, so they are going to capture the survivors and raise them like human livestock. Huang Bin orders the squad to capture 5 or 6 survivors for their slaughterhouse, and deal with the rest right on the spot. He tells Xiaoyong to sit back and watch how real top-tier evolvers operate. Down in the small settlement, an innocent worker wipes the sweat from his forehead while laying bricks on a wall. Suddenly, a massive horde of hungry zombies charges out from the treeline. The terrified workers scream in sheer panic, swinging pipes and firing handguns uselessly as the undead swarm over their walls, tearing the civilians apart in a bloody slaughterhouse frenzy. Up on the hill, Xiaoyong stands next to Huang Bin, watching the horrific chaos unfold, sarcastically observing that luring a zombie horde to massacre helpless civilians was the grand tactical genius plan Huang Bin came up with. Huang Bin orders Zhang Xiaoyong to stay behind at the warehouse entrance, gathering all remaining supplies and piling up the dead bodies so a truck can pick them up later. Xiaoyong nods obediently under his fake identity Zhang Yi, while Huang Bin marches the remaining civilian captives back toward the steel mill base. Along the way, a female captive nervously asks if there is clean water at their settlement, and a Chong smirks, grabbing her inappropriately while boasting that they have heated showers and premium body wash. The captive smiles awkwardly, completely clueless that she is being marched straight into a cannibal slaughterhouse. While walking Axing noticing something is off, everyone gets alert then the tentacle monster kills Axing in a blink, then grabs Huang Bin. Back at the warehouse entrance, Xiaoyong is left completely alone with a mountain of fresh corpses. He flips his hunting knife in his palm, smirking to himself that the timing could not possibly be more perfect. Back at the survivors, tentacle monster snaps Huang Bin. A Chong gets scared and throws the girl at the monster to save his skin. Just as she was about to be crushed, Xiaoyong appears and saves her ass, stunning everyone. Amidst the absolute chaos, Xiaoyong stands completely unfazed, twirling his knife while casually watching the nightmare creature. Xiaoyong gestures toward the creature, casually asking if this is the infamous tentacle monster they were all terrified of. The fleeing raider frantically screams back that this beast is actually the tentacle monster's son. He stammers that the original monster constantly mutters the word son while infecting ordinary zombies into dark tentacle abominations. The raider realizes that even Big Peng and Huang Ling struggle to fight a single tentacle monster's son. Knowing Zhang Yi is completely doomed, the coward yells over his shoulder that Xiaoyong should hold the monster off while he goes to get reinforcements. He then sprints away at top speed, abandoning Xiaoyong to be eaten without a second thought. Xiaoyong watches the raiders run, chuckling in dry disgust, knowing the pathetic coward is just using him as human bait to buy escape time. The giant tentacle monster's son roars, hurling its razor-sharp black tendrils directly at Xiaoyong. The heavy tentacles coil tightly around Xiaoyong's arms and torso, pinning him in place. But Xiaoyong does not even flinch. His eyes glow with cold blue power as he looks the beast dead in its eyes, smirking that the concept of a tentacle monster's son has officially piqued his interest. Zhang Xiaoyong triggers his physical overload ability, surging raw physical power through his veins. With a single flex of his muscles, he shatters the thick black tentacles into tiny pieces like brittle twigs. Moving at lightning speed, Xiaoyong's speed blitzes the tentacle monster's son, chopping off its limbs and severing its head in a fraction of a second. The female captive gasps in utter shock, covering her mouth as the giant mutant collapses dead on the dirt. Xiaoyong casually adjusts his glasses, telling her to calm down because he is just an ordinary human, definitely not a monster. Meanwhile, the cowardly raiders sprint back into the steel mill courtyard, screaming for help and shouting that Huang Bin was slaughtered. Big Peng's face turns dark red with rage. Grabbing his heavy battle axe, Big Peng roars that they are useless fools, instantly chopping the fleeing raider in half with one brutal swing. Before Big Peng can rage any further, Xiaoyong steps into the yard with the female captive, dropping the severed tentacle head onto the pavement. The raiders freeze in utter shock, shouting in disbelief that Zhang Yi is still alive. Xiaoyong casually shrugs, announcing that he killed the tentacle monster's son and avenged their dead relatives for them. Huang Ling and Big Peng stare in total disbelief, wondering how a dirty new recruit could be so ridiculously strong. Xiaoyong points at the bosses, bossing them around by ordering them to arrange a truck so they can go clean up the remaining loot. Later inside the office meeting room, Big Peng and Huang Ling hold an emergency war council. Aqiang insists that the tentacle monster was an unstoppable demon, suggesting even Big Peng and Huang Ling would have struggled against it. Huang Ling smiles craftily, reasoning that the monster relied on an ambush and was probably weaker than it looked. But Big Peng insists they cannot keep Zhang Yi around if he ever teams up with Brother Li. Brother Li steps into the room with Xiaoyong, proposing to make Zhang Yi an official officer since his strength equals his own. Big Peng rejects the idea, but Huang Ling smirks, declaring that Zhang Yi must prove his worth by killing the original tentacle monster itself. Brother Li argues that even the bosses failed to kill that monster, so forcing a newcomer to do it is unfair. Huang Ling smiles darkly, claiming the entire settlement will launch a full-scale raid in 2 days, using Zhang Yi as their frontline vanguard. Brother Li agrees with no objections, while Xiaoyong smirks, acting touched by their generous promotion. But in his mind, Xiaoyong activates his mind's eye radar. Bright red hostile aura emojis instantly flash over the heads of Big Peng and Huang Ling, exposing their treacherous plot to use him as monster fodder. At T-City Fortress, a walkie-talkie crackles with static as Zhang Xiaoyong's voice echoes through the speaker. Captain Li, Zhang Qi, and all the base leaders gather around, listening intently. Standing high atop a massive excavator under the starry night sky, Xiaoyong orders them to assemble Brother Chong and their absolute strongest strike team, declaring that tomorrow morning at South Suburban Park, they are wiping out the Southern District Cartel once and for all. Xiaoyong instructs Uncle Shang to stay back and hold down the fort, while Captain Li mobilizes Zhang Qi, Chan Chong, and 5 other elite core fighters. Young Xiaoshui steps forward eagerly, shouting at the top of his lungs that he is a grown man now and ready for real war. Captain Li chuckles, reassuring Xiaoshui's mom that the kid has become a fearsome warrior who can easily hold his own against any threat. Later that night, an armored SUV pulls up to the dark gates of South Suburban Park. Big Peng, Huang Ling, and Brother Li step out into the shadows alongside Xiaoyong. Xiaoyong casually asks how they plan to lure out the beast, and Big Peng smirks, claiming they have a completely foolproof plan. High up on a nearby rooftop, Captain Li scopes out the park with binoculars. Following Xiaoyong's strict orders to stay hidden, the Fortress Strike Team sets up climbing ropes, preparing to flank the cartel as soon as the battle erupts. Down in the dark park plaza, Huang Ling calls over a terrified captive worker, ordering him to walk straight into the open park as live bait. The captive stammers in sheer horror, screaming that he only signed up to carry loot. Big Peng grabs the poor guy by his collar, roaring that he will execute him on the spot if he hesitates. Big Peng violently hurls the captive into the middle of the plaza, leaving him whimpering on the cold pavement. Suddenly, heavy, terrifying footsteps shatter the quiet night. A colossal blue tentacle monster emerges from the dark forest, roaring for its son as massive black tendrils erupt from its back. Brother Li rushes forward to save the helpless bait, but Huang Ling grabs his shoulder, saying don't steal Jiang Ye's credits. Xiaoyong lunges forward and saves the poor soul and throws him back, getting captured himself. Xiaoyong gets stunned seeing the familiar face. Just as Brother Li tries to help Xiaoyong, he gets immobilized by Big Peng and Huang Ling. Brother Li asks why are they doing this, and Xiaoyong makes them all speechless by revealing he knows that Big Peng and Huang Ling eat humans, that's why they are letting Xiaoyong die and betraying Brother Li. Without warning, automatic rifle fire shatters the night air. Captain Li and the fortress squad leap down from the ropes, unleashing a deadly hail of armor-piercing bullets into the plaza. Young Xiaoshui charges forward like a total badass, lighting a Molotov cocktail and hurling it straight at the beast. The glass bottle smashes against the monster's chest, exploding into a towering inferno. As flames engulf its body, the tentacle monster stares down at young Xiaoshui in complete shock, slurring out words, asking if the kid is its son. Tentacle monster sees Xiaoshui and calls him son, but Xiaoshui in his enthusiasm swears. Tentacle monster like an average dad screams, "No swearing." They all get scared of him speaking. Chun Chong lounges forward with blinding speed, dodging and defecting every attack. Wrapped tightly in tentacles, Zhang Xiaoyong casually laughs out loud, teasing Chun Chong that he has finally met his match. Chun Chong glares through his gas mask, looking thoroughly annoyed by Xiaoyong's terrible timing. Hidden in the bushes, Big Peng gapes in utter disbelief, wondering how Xiaoyong still has the nerve to joke around while pinned by a nightmare monster. Suddenly, Xiaoyong flexes his muscles, instantly shattering the giant tentacle into pieces like brittle glass. Aqiang realizes the kid called Zhang Yi. Xiaoyong then Huang Ling remembers it's the name of Cheng City stronghold leader. Big Peng curses as he realizes they have been played, Huang Ling making a plan to save them in this impossible match. She asks Big Peng to cover her, while she goes for Xiaoshui. Zhang Qi's friend tries to save him but gets his ass hooped. Now the seductive female boss Huang Ling grabs young Xiaoshui by the throat. Xiaoshui struggles furiously, screaming that he will never let her use him as a human shield. Huang Ling smirks evilly and punches the shit out of the brat. Out in the open, the original tentacle monster roars for its son. Chun Chong leaps into the air, with his massive burst of raw physical strength, trying to hold him down. Xiaoyong casually tells Chun Chong to release the tentacle monster. Chun Chong gets confused. Xiaoyong explains tentacle monster is ready to put his life on the life, stopping him isn't smart. While Big Peng backs away, realizing that interfering with Xiaoyong right now is pure suicide. Huang Ling orders the fortress squad to drop their weapons, or watch the kid's head roll on the dirt. Shanshan screams Xiaoshui's name in horror, while Captain Li roars at Huang Ling to keep her filthy hands off the boy. Brother Li steps forward, shouting at Huang Ling to release young Xiaoshui and take him as a hostage instead. Huang Ling smirks insidiously, boasting that seeing everyone so desperate proves she caught the ultimate bargaining chip. Captain Li sweats in a total panic, wondering how he will explain it to Xiaoshui's mom if the kid gets hurt. Huang Ling tightens her chokehold on Xiaoshui, screaming for the fortress squad to drop their automatic weapons and back up 100 meters. She arrogantly orders them to make their mutant attack the original tentacle monster. But Aqiang suddenly roars in terror for her to watch out. A massive black tentacle erupts from behind, impaling Aqiang and smashing into the pavement. Big Peng screams in horror as Aqiang gets skewered like a shish kebab, while Huang Ling backflips away, gasping in shock that the tentacle monster broke free. Huang Ling looks across the field, realizing Xiaoyong and Chun Chong are just standing there casually watching the chaos. Captain Li screams toward Xiaoshui in panic to watch out, but Xiaoyong casually stops him, declaring that the kid is in zero danger. Suddenly, the giant blue tentacle monster gently lifts young Xiaoshui in its arms, slurring out the kid's name. Xiaoyong tells the tentacle monster that he kept his words, both his wife and son are safe. Xiaoshui is confused, but Xiaoyong smirks, revealing that Zhang Shengzhe retained his human memories just like Chen Chong. Xiaoshui bursts into tears, weeping as he hugs the beast, proving the terrifying tentacle monster was Xiaoshui's father all along. Big Peng gapes in absolute disbelief, screaming that this apocalypse is turning into an absurd K-drama before ordering a retreat. But before Big Peng can take 2 steps, massive black tentacles wrap around his chest, yanking him high into the air. Big Peng screams at Huang Ling to cut the tendrils, but Huang Ling sprints away at top speed, abandoning her partner to save her own skin. Suddenly, a stray tentacle snags Huang Ling's ankle, slamming her violently onto the pavement and shattering her glasses. Big Peng dangles in the air, laughing like a maniac that karma instantly caught Huang Ling for trying to sell him out. He yells for Li Cheng to help, and Li Cheng saying he has no choice, only for Xiaoyong to materialize directly behind him. Xiaoyong grabs Li Cheng's collar with a cold smile, telling him to stay still if he wants to walk away from this park alive. High above them, the tentacle monster tightens its grip. Big Peng coughs blood as his ribs shatter, while Huang Ling screams in agony as the tentacles crushing her torso into a bloody pulp. As tentacle monster crushes Huang Ling into pieces, Xiaoyong's mission gets completed. He stand at stunning 151 point. Xiaoyong asks Li Cheng for any questions. Li Cheng confirms if they are from East City and asks about what do they mean by eating people. Xiaoyong explains people don't become evolvers by luck. Li Cheng remembers a time in base where a little girl wanted to have meat, so he gave his own meal to her. He realizes what he had done. He goes back in memories again, remember that the girl went missing few days later. Li Cheng falls to his knees, puking as he stares at the crushed corpses. He beats the corpses of his former allies till he is breathless. He looks up at Xiaoyong's squad, with filth and murder in his eyes, asking if they all gained their overpowered stats by eating human flesh too. Captain Li replies back that they are definitely not savages. Xiaoyong holds out a glowing red exotic core, explaining that true evolvers absorb clean energy cores harvested from zombies instead of resorting to cannibalism. He warns Li Cheng that eating human flesh causes severe psychological side effects, making emotional control impossible and triggering violent killing sprees. Li Cheng stares at his blood-stained hands in utter shock, admitting that he has felt those exact twisted urges spiraling out of control lately. Xiaoyong advises him that while there is no undoing his past actions, stopping human consumption immediately will prevent his violent urges from worsening. Xiaoyong turns toward the giant tentacle monster, asking Zhang Shengzhe if he can still speak clearly. The blue mutant slurs out broken words, desperately thanking Xiaoyong for saving his son Xiaoshui. Xiaoyong sweat drops, realizing that just like Chun Chong, Zhang Shengzhe kept his human intellect completely intact through the mutation process. Xiaoyong notes that bringing a giant tentacle monster back to the fortress would scare the living daylights out of the civilians. But Zhang Shengzhe slurs back that he prefers staying in the park soil, now that he knows his son is safe and sound. Zhang Shengzhe flashes a giant goofy thumbs up, praising Xiaoyong's super high IQ. Xiaoyong dryly deadpants that it is just basic cleverness, before turning his attention back to the fate of the West Wind base. Xiaoyong suggests that Li Cheng lead the remaining survivors at West Wind. But Li Cheng panics, confessing that his cannibal past makes him way too dangerous to hold power. Xiaoyong smiles, appointing Captain Li to take over leadership of West Wind base instead, while inviting Li Cheng to live at T-City Fortress so Xiaoyong can personally keep watch over the demon in his heart. Meanwhile, over on the overgrown border of neighboring City S, an alarming new nightmare unfolds. A group of terrified scavengers flees through a concrete jungle, completely smothered in mutated green vines. Glowing red eyes flash through the toxic green fog as a terrifying new breed of plant zombies ambushes the survivors. A giant plant mutant covered in purple flowers and razor-sharp vines impales a falling scavenger, tearing him apart in a bloody cloud of green spores as a brand-new apocalyptic threat rises in the east. An exhausted girl gasps for air in pitch-black woods, her legs completely giving out, while the survivor with her scream that stopping means instant death. One guy tells everyone to freeze, desperately listening past their frantic breathing. He hears the faint sound of wind blowing through the canopy, which means the forest edge is right around the corner. They celebrate like they just won the apocalypse lottery, but their victory lap gets cut short by horrific clicking sounds echoing through the dark. They sprint for their lives, bursting out into the moonlight, finally seeing the open road. Just as they shout in relief, a massive dark vine shoots from the trees, snapping around the woman's neck like a lightning bolt. Before anyone can react, the plant creature pulls Xiaotong into the air and brutally shreds her to pieces. Her boyfriend drops to his knees, weeping hysterically for his virgin Xiaotong. His friend slaps some sense into him, yelling that crying will only turn them into plant fertilizer, so he needs to get it together. They sprint onto the paved streets, but right behind them, an entire horde of glowing plant zombies with purple mushrooms sprouting off their skin swarms out of the treeline. They make it to the city limits, realizing they reached M-City Wilderness Park, but the empty streets are eerily quiet, proving this whole region was evacuated after the disaster in City S. Suddenly, they spot a shirtless blue-skinned giant casually leaning against a lamppost, rocking massive tentacles on his back, mistaking him for another mutant weed. They scream in panic and run right past him. It was just our Zhang. That is when they realize the entire city is crawling with plant monsters. Surrounded on all sides with zero escape, the boyfriend pulls out a knife, crying that he would rather end his own life than get torn apart. Right before he plunges the blade, a massive black tentacle whips through the air, violently pulverizing the plant creatures in a single strike. Zhang Shengzhe steps out of the shadows, glowing red eyes fixed on the remaining horde like an absolute apex predator. Meanwhile, back at T-City Fortress, Jiang Xiaoyong stands on his balcony enjoying the cool night air, completely oblivious to the chaos miles away. Suddenly, the apocalypse system pings with massive rewards for expanding his empire into the West Wind steel plant. With 231 points sitting in his bank, Xiaoyong decides to treat himself. He redeems an armored jeep, a 30-point physical enhancement serum, and a rare level 3 box containing the enslavement mark. This overpowered skill lets him turn any enemy into a completely loyal servant, though it only has a single slot. Xiaoyong ponders his choices, noting that Chun Chong, Zhang Shengzhe, and Li Chang are still mentally stable for now, so he will hold on to the mark for later. The system immediately gives him a new quest titled Weed Control Volume 1, demanding he exterminate the invasive plant threat for 100 points. Xiaoyong chuckles, asking himself if the system is seriously telling him to go do lawn care. Just then, his radio crackles to life, with a panic-stricken voice reporting that young Xiaoshuai's father is having a situation. The base guards nearly lose their collective minds when Zhang Shengzhe stomps up to the perimeter, fully convinced another monstrous mutant is invading. But before anyone pulls a trigger, young Xiaoshuai bursts through the gates screaming for his dad, throwing his arms around the blue giant. Zhang Shengzhe wraps his massive arms around Xiaoshuai and his wife Xiaoli in a tearful family reunion. Since his viral mutation wrecked his brain's language center, he can only mutter broken glitchy phrases about his wedding day and random vegetable stew, while Xiaoyong calmly inspects a severed plant vine. The rescued survivor frantically explains that City S transformed into an overgrown nightmare jungle where people mutated into lethal plant creatures. Xiaoyong does not even flinch. He commands Shenghua to send a squad 2 blocks east to fetch the military armored jeep he spawned earlier, then orders his scouts to march straight toward the jungle border. The survivors gasp in sheer horror, asking why on earth they would jump right back into the death trap they barely escaped. Xiaoyong coldly warns them that if they do nothing, West Wind steel plant will get swallowed whole by invasive roots. But before tackling the jungle, he has a much higher priority, turning his team into absolute powerhouses. Xiaoyong orders Zhang Qi and Shanshan to bring Lao Li's crew for hunting. Cue the ultimate zombie hunting spree. Xiaoyong leaps through the pitch-black streets like an apex assassin, cleanly decapitating mutated beasts with a single effortless knife slash. Right behind him, the T-City squad rolls out in their heavy armored jeep, mounting top-tier machine guns and turning entire undead hordes into pure crimson mist. Brass shell casings rain down on the pavement while Xiaoyong and Shanshan harvest an absurd mountain of glowing exotic cores. Meanwhile, in the dark city ruins nearby, a wild, shirtless cannibal evolver rips a zombie apart with his bare hands. He spits out the foul flesh, complaining that he is sick of eating rotten zombie meat and desperately needs a real meal. Suddenly, his nose twitches as he catches the scent of pure, untainted human meat coming from the base guards. He drools like a rabid dog, desperate to launch a raid, but backs off when he realizes the guards are flexing heavy military gear, vowing to wait a few more days before he completely loses his mind. Back at headquarters, Xiaoyong calls an emergency meeting and dumps a ridiculous mountain of glowing exotic cores right onto the conference table. He orders Captain Li and Zhang Qi to split the loot, shutting down their modesty by explaining that guns are cheap, but top-tier revolvers are what actually survived the apocalypse. The entire room cheers for their chief's legendary generosity. Finally, Xiaoyong turns to Shanshan, telling her to step into his private room. Naturally, the rest of the squad sneaks up to the door like nosy neighbors to eavesdrop on the chief. Inside, Xiaoyong warns Shanshan that it might hurt a little, so she needs to bear with it, causing everyone outside to lose their absolute minds thinking something wildly inappropriate is going down. The squad bursts through the door expecting a romantic scandal, only to find Xiaoyong standing there looking extremely annoyed. Zhang Qi stammers out asking if he was already finished, which gets his ear yanked so hard he screams in agony. Xiaoyong drags the idiot into the hallway and kicks him right in the rear, shutting down the nosy rumors instantly. It turns out Xiaoyong brought Meng Shanshan inside to inject her with a high-grade physical enhancement serum, making her stronger than almost everyone in the base. Xiaoyong smirks, telling Shanshan to spar with Zhang Qi, but Zhang Qi arrogantly boasts that he does not hit women. Xiaoyong tells Shanshan not to hold back and give him a full power slap, and before Zhang Qi can finish flexing, Shanshan slaps him so violently he flies across the room and crashes through the wall like a ragdoll. Zhang Qi rubs his sore checks, whining that he thought he was Xiaoyong's favorite guy, earning him an instant roast from the squad for acting weird and gay. After showing off Shanshan's insane new strength, Xiaoyong gathers his elite strike team to launch an expedition into City S. He commands the former survivors to provide a guide. But one guy drops to his knees begging to stay behind as a basic laborer. Seeing his friend chicken out, Zhou Xingkai steps up, declaring he will guide them himself. Meanwhile, in the suburban ruins of M City, the shirtless cannibal evolver sneaks into a hideout filled with degenerate cannibal mutants. The bald cannibal boss glares at him for returning, but the guy frantically explains that he found a massive base full of pure, untainted humans. Since the guards are heavily armed, he needs the cannibal faction to help him launch a full-scale raid. The cannibal boss agrees to the alliance, threatening to eat him if he lies. While a bikini-clad female cannibal invites him get freaky, he just thanks her for the meal. Back at the border, Xiaoyong leads his heavy-hitter squad into the dense, overgrown jungle of City S. With Brother Chong, Zhang Shangzhe, and Li Cheng guarding their flanks, Xiaoyong takes point, warning everyone to stay alert. He calmly informs Zhou Xingkai that they are not playing heroes. They are simply burning down the jungle before it swallows their base whole. Suddenly, sticky slime drips onto Xiaoyong's shoulder, and before anyone can react, a massive carnivorous plant monster drops from the canopy, wrapping a vine around his throat and swallowing him whole in its razor-sharp jaws. The guide screams in absolute despair, yelling that nobody has ever survived being eaten by that plant monster. Just when the guide thinks Xiaoyong is doomed, a flash of energy slices open the plant monster's jaws from the inside out. The carnivorous beast squeals and tries to scurry away, but Xiaoyong looks back at Zhang Shangzhe, roasting him for letting a plant flex tentacles in front of the ultimate tentacle master. Shangzhe instantly shoots his massive black tendrils forward, impaling and crushing the plant monster into pulverized pulp. As the beast dies, it releases a strange green smoke that smells shockingly sweet. Xiaoyong warns everyone to cover their faces, but the hallucinogenic spores spread like wildfire, causing the guide's vision to swirl into a trippy, psychedelic nightmare. Separate from the group, Zhou Xingkai stumbles through the woods until he spots his supposedly dead girlfriend Xiaotong waving at him from the bushes. Completely hypnotized by the illusion, he ignores all danger and blindly follows her deeper into the toxic fog. Meanwhile, over at West Wind Base, the shirtless cannibal evolver leads his squad of degenerate mutants to the perimeter wall. Looking at the fresh human guards on patrol, the cannibals drool like rabid dogs. But the shirtless idiot completely loses his mind to his stomach cravings. Driven mad by hunger, he recklessly charges the wall alone, leaping at a guard to tear into his neck. Hearing gun shoots, Captain Lee gets alert and make a run towards it. The other guard was about to become the next meal, but Captain Lee reacts instantly, first kicking the mutant away, then opening fire with automatic rifles. A hail of lead riddles the cannibal full of holes, blasting him off the wall and sending him crashing onto the hard pavement below. The guards rush their wounded comrade to the infirmary while the bloody, bullet-ridden idiot barely survives the fall. Gasping for breath, the wounded cannibal crawls back to his squad, aggressively demanding fresh human meat so his evolver healing factor can patch him up. But the bald boss stares down at him with zero sympathy. The cunning female cannibal steps up with a wicked grin, remarking that fewer mouths to feed is always a bonus, while brutally stomping her heel directly through his skull. With the idiot eliminated, the bald boss asks how they are supposed to breach a fortified base packed with heavy weapons. The female cannibal smirks seductively, pointing out that unlike mindless zombies, they still look like normal humans, meaning all they have to do is knock on the front door and walk right inside as helpless survivors. Back in the jungle, Zhou Xingkai floats towards his dead girlfriend's illusion like a hypnotized moth to a flame. Right before he reaches her, Xiaoyong flashes forward with a silver blade, cleanly slicing the puppet vine in half. The illusion shatters into dust, leaving a severed plant monster head flopping on the ground. Xingkai snaps out of the trance, screaming in tears, blaming Xiaoyong for killing Xiaotong again, until Xiaoyong tells the idiot to open his eyes and look at the pile of dead cabbage sitting on the dirt. The rest of the team rubs their eyes, waking up from the trippy gas feeling like they just survived a 3-day fever dream. Zhang Shangzhe mutters random gibberish about picking his son up from school, while Xiaoyong inspects the dead plant. He cuts open its stem, realizing this vine monster was just a remote-controlled puppet with roots running deep underground. But right in the soil, Xiaoyong unearths a massive, bulbous root that looks like a giant mutant potato. Deciding it might actually be edible, Xiaoyong instantly stores the massive tuber into his digital space ring. He turns to Zhou Xingkai, asking if anyone knows more about these plant beasts. Xingkai reveals that an expert from the Forestry Research Institute named Old, he was hiding in his old apartment building before he fled. Realizing a plant scientist is a goldmine of information, Xiaoyong immediately orders the squad to march straight to Old He's hideout. Meanwhile, over at West Wind Base, the female cannibal puts her deception plan into action. Dressed in a tiny bikini, she collapses near the main gate, panting heavily like a helpless victim. The base guards spot her from the watchtower, immediately rushing out to save her. When one guard suggests reporting to headquarters first, his buddy yells at him for being heartless, insisting they bring the poor woman inside before zombies eat her. As they carry the Trojan horse straight through their own front doors. Back in City S, Xiaoyong's strike team navigates the dense, pitch-black jungle until they reach an abandoned high-rise apartment complex. Suddenly, a middle-aged woman peeks around a brick wall, whispering for Shinkai, fearing another gas hallucination. Shinkai rubs his eyes, but Xiaoyong reassures him that the woman is 100% real. Before they can even greet her, a group of armed survivors wielding axes, spears, and crossbows bursts out from the building. Convinced that Shinkai has been mind-controlled by the plant hive mind, their leader shouts that he is beyond saving. Aunt Yang screams a countdown and commands her squad to attack, sending a volley of sharp arrows flying straight at Xiaoyong's chest. Xiaoyong does not even bother dodging, casually snatching the incoming arrows right out of the air with his bare hand. He barks at the survivors to stay calm and stop being idiots, while Shinkai jumps in front of the group with open arms, yelling at Aunt Yang that these guys are actually allies. Aunt Yang immediately orders her squad to stand down, realizing Xiaoyong and his group are actual human saviors. Zhou Shinkai explains how their exploration party got slaughtered, but Aunt Yang tells them to move inside before the jungle monsters spot them. Before entering, she looks nervously at Xiaoyong's mutated enforcers, so Xiaoyong tells them to say something friendly to calm her down. Brother Chong flexes like a giant goofy bodybuilder in his gas mask, while Zhang Shengzhe strikes a ridiculous shirtless pose, boasting about his smooth marble physique. Xiaoyong facepalms at their complete lack of social skills, but Aunt Yang chuckles nervously and invites them inside. Meanwhile, over at West Wind Base, Shanshan rolls up on her motorcycle, radioing Captain Li to open the gate. Watching from the rooftops, the cannibal squad drools over her, recognizing that she is a pure evolver whose meat would grant them a massive power boost. Shanshan heads straight to the infirmary to deliver zombie infection inhibitors, but Captain Li notes that the bitten guards have zero infection symptoms. That is when the undercover female cannibal speaks up, lying smoothly that she fled from violent mutants who bite without infecting. Captain Li sees right through her victim act, quickly realizing she intentionally led the cannibal cartel straight to their doorstep. Instead of panicking, Captain Li plays along and tells her to rest, immediately ordering his men to prepare for an imminent attack. Shanshan senses that something is deeply off about the woman, but Captain Li assumes she is just overly stressed from running the base. Back in City S, Aunt Yang leads Xiaoyong's squad to a 10-story skyscraper, explaining that the dense plant fog on lower floors turns anyone who breathes it into a mutated plant creature. They head up to the 10th floor to meet Professor He, a top forestry researcher. Xiaoyong gives him the harsh reality check that no military rescues are coming and every city is fending for itself. Then, Xiaoyong pulls out the giant mutant potato root he dug up earlier, asking if it is safe to consume. Professor He confirms that the tubers are fully edible and packed with calories, making them a crucial survival food. But before they can celebrate, a panicked survivor bursts into the office, screaming that an army of plant creatures is swarming the building. Professor He turns pale as a ghost, gasping that the terrifying flower carts have arrived, warning that everyone is about to die. He commands the women and children to flee to sealed rooms on the top floor, while the old folks stay behind as a meat shield. The entire building erupts into pure panic as survivors sprint for their lives. Professor He tells Xiaoyong to run, but Xiaoyong simply summons spatial energy around his hand with a cold smirk, asking what kind of monster could possibly scare them this badly. Professor He points out the window at the approaching horde, warning Xiaoyong that if they do not destroy the flower cart controlling them with pheromones, they will all get torn apart. Xiaoyong casually opens the window, pulling an assault rifle out of thin air, causing Professor He to gasp in pure shock. He unloads full auto into a plant zombie, but watches in annoyance as the beast instantly regenerates its head. Xiaoyong literally dumps 2 entire magazines just to permanently kill a single plant zombie, realizing why the survivors were so terrified of their ridiculous healing factor. Instead of wasting more ammo, Xiaoyong uses his space ring to spawn a massive crate onto the floor, prying the nailed wood open with his bare hands. Inside sits a motherload of Molotov cocktails, which he leaves behind for the survivors to burn any stragglers. Before Professor He can even ask what he means, Xiaoyong, Brother Chong, and Zhang Shengzhe vault straight out of the 16th floor window. Professor He screams in horror, watching the three madmen plummet through the air and superhero land on the street below. The trio immediately turns the plant zombie army into a slaughterhouse. Xiaoyong crushes heads bare-handed. Brother Chong tears beasts in half, and Zhang Shengzhe smashes them into paste with his massive tentacles. Watching from the 16th floor, Professor He and the survivors stare with their jaws on the floor, questioning if those three monsters are even human. Li Cheng snaps them out of it, ordering everyone to grab Molotovs and turn the stairwell into a flaming barbecue for any leaking stragglers. After clearing the entire street, Xiaoyong sends Chong and Shengzhe to harvest exotic cores, while he heads into the woods alone to hunt down the main boss. Deep in the forest, he finds the true flower cart, a terrifying giant purple blossom sitting on top of a creepy cluster of dozens of walking human legs. Suddenly, the flower cart whips a massive vine directly at Xiaoyong. Hitting with enough force to rival Zhang Shengzhe, Xiaoyong blocks the strike, smirking that he has become an absolute expert at fighting tentacle monsters lately. The beast spits a spray of acidic spores, but Xiaoyong easily dodges the trick, leaping into the air above the creature. As the flower cart shatters its creepy leg cluster in sheer panic, Xiaoyong lands right behind its main body, summoning a glowing dark portal in his palm. Preparing to slap the level 3 slave mark directly onto the boss monster to turn it into his ultimate personal pet. Xiaoyong slaps the level 3 slave mark directly onto the flower cart's core, causing dark purple energy to surge through the massive beast as its mind gets forcefully brainwashed. Up in the skyscraper window, Professor He and the survivors scream in terror, watching the giant monster stomp toward their building, convinced Xiaoyong got eaten. But moments later, Xiaoyong casually strolls into the room, asking his mutant enforcers if they found any exotic cores downstairs. Zhang Shengzhe mutters broken gibberish about double cores and spider legs, while Brother Chong speaks in Irish accent with a thumbs up, leaving Xiaoyong to facepalm over his team's complete lack of normal communication skills. Professor He stammers in sheer panic about the monster outside, but Xiaoyong casually smirks, revealing that the flower cart is now their loyal personal pet. The survivors rush to the window, staring in disbelief as the giant plant monster sits tamely on the pavement like a giant well-behaved dog. Professor He explains that plants evolve aggressively when denied sunlight, forcing this creature to hunt animals for survival. Suddenly, a vine shoots up and wraps around Xiaoyong's neck, scaring the crew. But Xiaoyong tells everyone to hold their fire. The plant monster extrudes a glowing green symbiote bulb from its petals, floating directly onto Xiaoyong's palm and merging into his body. Xiaoyong tests his new plant powers, sprouting massive whip vines from his bare arm that pulverize a solid tree in a single strike. Zhang Shengzhe screams in total jealousy, yelling that Xiaoyong's new plant noodle is way cooler than his own tentacles. The Apocalypse system pings with an achievement titled Gardener, rewarding Xiaoyong with 150 fresh points. Meanwhile, over at West Wind Base, the Trojan horse female cannibal puts her deadly charm to work. A naive guard sneaks into her room with late-night snacks, completely mesmerized by her beauty. The female cannibal purrs seductively, convincing the gullible guard to sneak outside, past the factory walls for a little private fun. After "Who's your dad?" and emptying his nut sacks, asking for her name. But his eyes suddenly catch a blood-stained sleeve sticking out of a trash bin. He pulls off the lid and gasps in horror, finding the mangled, half-eaten corpse of his missing fellow guard Zhao Chun. Before he can shout an alarm, the cannibal wraps her arms around his throat from behind. At least bro is dying empty sacks. Outside the factory walls, the bald cannibal boss grabs his lookout by the throat, choking him out for nodding off on guard duty. The brown-haired female cannibal steps in, sarcastically suggesting that their red-haired team member Gao Wen probably snuck inside to hog all the human meat for herself. The gang sneaks over to the side alley, finding the remains for their friend's deed, greedily devouring a guard behind the dumpsters. When the brown-haired cannibal tries to sneak in too, the bald boss grabs her neck, threatening to murder both of them if anyone tries to double-cross him. Runs to the main gate, knocking frantically while putting on a tearful damsel in distress act. The foolish guards fall for it instantly, drooling over her figure and rushing to open the gate. But before she can step inside, the bikini female cannibal from earlier charges out, pointing her finger and exposing Gao Wen as a cannibal mutant in disguise. The guards instantly open fire, raining a barrage of bullets onto Gao Wen. Even though she takes multiple body shots, her superhuman evolver traits let her dodge the kill shots and flee into the dark night. The guards grab gasoline cans to search the perimeter, but Gao Wen stumbles back to her cannibal squad, begging her boss for mercy. The bald boss coldly reminds her that cannibals never trust each other, but the shirtless cannibal betrays and chops his head off, The male cannibal chops off his arm and leg so her healing factor can patch her up while he keeps the rest of his body for dinner. The brown-haired cannibal secretly notes how cutthroat their cartel really is, knowing that, in their world, only the strongest predators eat. Back inside West Wind Base, Captain Lee panics when two more guards, Chanjua and Yang Hai, completely vanish. Meng Shanshan investigates the courtyard, digging through the dumpster until she unearths blood-stained clothes and mangled bones. The guards recognize the jacket and shoes immediately, realizing a monster has been eating their men from the inside. The bikini female cannibal breaks into a cold sweat, realizing Shanshan dug up her secret bone stash. Shanshan turns an ice-cold glare onto the undercover imposter, pointing out that since nobody heard a struggle, the killer is standing right in front of them. Before the fake survivor can make another excuse, Shanshan draws a glowing blue energy blade and goes for her. The undercover cannibal grabs a guard as a human shield, pressing a knife to his throat and threatening to murder multiple if they do not let her walk. She drags the hostage into the courtyard, suddenly kicking him down and shooting him in the legs before sprinting for the dark woods. Meng Shanshan does not hesitate, drawing her pistol and landing 2 precise shots right through the cannibal's back, sending the wounded monster screaming into the night. Shanshan tries to chase her down on a motorcycle, but Captain Lee stops her, warning that locking down the base is safer. Shanshan agrees, ordering strict quarantines for all future survivors before heading back to T-City to inform Xiaoyong. Captain Lee smiles proudly, amazed at how decisive and capable Shanshan has become. Meanwhile, in the S-City jungle, Xiaoyong tests his new flower cart plant vines, instantly shredding a horde of plant zombies into organic slush. He throws a firebomb into the remains, creating a towering bonfire while Professor He stares in awe at the sheer terrifying power of Xiaoyong's squad. Right on cue, the Apocalypse system pings with 40 bonus points for successfully defending West Wind Base. Xiaoyong leads his team back to T-City Fortress, introducing Professor He and the S-City refugees to Grandpa Lee. When Professor He thanks them for sanctuary, Xiaoyong casually drops a bombshell, declaring that this base is only temporary because he plans to march back into the jungle and establish a third settlement. Suddenly, Shanshan arrives on a Ducati motorcycle, reporting the cannibal infiltration at West Wind Base. Hearing that new survivors are hostile, Professor He panics, but Xiaoyong reassures him that his background check cleared them. In fact, Xiaoyong smirks with delight, noting that a new cannibal threat just means more system points, instantly unlocking a new quest titled Villain Vanquisher Volume 4. Out in the dark outskirts, the red-haired cannibal Gaowen clutches her bullet wounds, only to get cornered by her own traitorous cannibal teammates. As the blonde-haired female cannibal prepares to execute her, a sharp blade suddenly thrusts through her neck from the shadows, spitting blood out of her mouth. The cannibal faction is eating itself alive, literally. While a blondie bleeds out from a fresh stab wound, her own partner just smiles like a cartoon villain. She screams at him for pulling the exact same backstabbing trick he used on their leader. He casually reminds her that she was on borrowed time anyway. The guy stabs her right on the spot. He tells her one arm and one leg are enough for her body to recover, so he will just take the rest for his own dinner. Meanwhile, back at the base, Zhang Xiaoyong gets a quick debrief from Li Cheng. Having been a cannibal himself before mutating, Li Cheng breaks down their exact mindset. Eating human flesh completely wipes out moral restraint, turning people into selfish, bloodthirsty monsters. Zhang Xiaoyong nods, putting a hit on the western outskirts on his long-term to-do list, before ordering Li Cheng to keep a tight guard on the steel factory. Fast forward 2 full months. Deep in the jungle, a group of desperate survivors is running for their lives in the dead of night. They figured traveling after dark was smart, since plant monsters are more active during the day. Terrible logic. A horde of glowing purple plant zombies surrounds them immediately. With 0 options left, the leader tells everyone to run toward a loud crashing sound in the woods, praying it is the military and not a worse nightmare. Instead of soldiers, they stumble across a crew of guys wearing yellow hard hats, casually cutting down giant trees with chainsaws. Turns out these lumberjacks are old acquaintances from M-City. Before the survivors can even catch their breath, the plant zombies catch up. While the newcomers panic, the hard hat guy just sighs, picks up his radio, and reports a minor pest issue. Out of nowhere, troops in full yellow hazmat gear roll in with industrial flamethrowers. They roast the plant monsters into crispy barbecue in seconds flat. To make things even wilder, the mutated tentacle Dajong Shangja and giant mutant Chan Chong drop in as security guards. The survivors are escorted straight to the main reclamation site, expecting a war zone. Instead, they find a massive, beautifully organized farm right in the middle of the lethal jungle. Hard Hat Guy hands them a squishy, pulsating plant crop and proudly boasts that it is an incredible high-yield food source. Professor He is practically crying tears of joy while chatting with Zhang Xiaoyong. Thanks to the enslaved flower cart boss, they can tweak plant crop traits like a custom video game menu. Zhang Xiaoyong decides it is finally time to go pest control the western outskirts. He marches into the ruined city streets alongside his elite guards. Hiding on a nearby roof, two surviving cannibals spot Zhang Xiaoyong and prepare to jump him. But before they can move, a massive gang of cannibal evolvers steps out of the shadows, completely blocking the path. A psychopath girl licks her knife with a creepy grin, calling Zhang Xiaoyong the highest quality meal she has ever seen. Little does she know, she just ordered the ultimate fast pass to the afterlife. The cannibal gang is drooling looking at Xiaoyong. They think he is a rare pure evolver, which basically makes him a luxury meal in their eyes. The psycho blue-haired girl even notices his masked companion and assumes he can control zombies, assuming that eating him will grant her that power so she can rule the northern outskirts. Up on a nearby rooftop, the two surviving cannibals from before are sulking because someone else reached the jackpot first. But the cannibal guy tells Redhead to watch closely to see if getting beaten to the punch is actually a blessing or a curse. Before the blue-haired girl can even take a step, Zhang Xiaoyong executes a silent speed blitz, slicing through the entire cannibal gang before they can even blink. The few surviving cannibals panic, screaming in absolute horror at how a monster this powerful can even exist. But Zhang Xiaoyong is not even warmed up yet. He grabs a massive steel pillar barehanded, swings it around like a baseball bat, and slams it directly onto the guy climbing the roof. Up on the roof, the two cannibals are shaking like leaves, completely covered in cold sweat. Their big evil plan to jump the winner just vanished into thin air. Once the dust settles, Zhang Xiaoyong casually harvests their variant cores with a glowing knife. After he leaves, those two roof cannibals creep down to inspect the damage. Seeing that Xiaoyong companion only ate 3 bodies, they grin like creepy hyenas, eager to feast on the leftovers. Meanwhile down the street, Xiaoyong roasts his companion for having such a tiny appetite. Imagine eating 3 entire adult bodies and getting called weak by your friend. Suddenly, Xiaoyong senses a presence inside a nearby building. He steps in, only for a guy with glasses to jump out from behind a corner, aiming a loaded crossbow straight at his face. The guy screams at Xiaoyong to back off or get shot. Xiaoyong just stands there completely unbothered. Frantic, the guy pulls the trigger. In a fraction of a millisecond, Zhang Xiaoyong casually catches the high-speed crossbow bolt right between his fingers. The poor guy instantly drops into pure despair, staring in complete disbelief that someone just caught a bolt barehanded. Xiaoyong steps into the room, telling everyone to calm down since they are not cannibals. A whole hidden group of traumatized survivors emerges from behind overturned tables. Once they realize Xiaoyong is human, the glasses guy is blown away that someone can survive without eating people. He explains they were planning to head to the sheafing steel plant in the south, but assumed regular humans could never survive the cannibals. Instead, he reveals there is a massive human settlement in the northern outskirts led by an absolute beast who hunts cannibals for sport. Xiaoyong questions if one guy can really protect that many people, but the glasses guy insists cannibals never team up. Suddenly, a young survivor speaks up, swearing he saw multiple of cannibals gathering 2 days ago. The glasses guy shuts him down, accusing him of hallucinating because he wants to go to sheafing to find his brother. He yells that his brother is definitely dead and sheafing was probably run by cannibals anyway. Zhang Xiaoyong smirks and drops a massive bomb. He admits the leaders of sheafing were cannibals, but he personally wiped them all out. He then asks the young guy for his brother's name. Tears streaming down his face, the kid asks if he knows a deputy officer named Li Cheng. Zhang Xiaoyong smirks. He tells the young survivor that he is actually close friends with Li Cheng, and that his brother is currently alive and well at sheafing steel plant, helping manage the base farmland. The kid nearly explodes with joy, shouting that restarting agriculture is insane and bragging to his group that he was right about going south all along. However, the glasses guy immediately loses his mind. He points a trembling finger at Xiaoyong, screaming that this is way too convenient and accusing him of lying just to lure them into a trap. Zhang Xiaoyong literally facepalms in disbelief. He looks at the guy and asks why on earth he would need to lie if he wanted to kill them, considering he could fold them like laundry in 5 seconds flat. Before the glasses guy can respond, and survivor in the back accidentally pulls his trigger. Bang! A random bullet shatters through the wall. Instantly, horrific cannibal howls echo through the night streets outside. The glasses guy screams in panic that the gunshot drew the horde, ordering everyone to run inside and lock the doors. As the group scrambles upstairs, the glasses guy yells at Xiaoyong to hide, warning him that even an evolver cannot solo an entire gang of cannibals. Xiaoyong calmly reminds him of his own words. Do not cannibals turn on each other when they gather? The glasses guy shouts back that they only fight after dividing up his corpse. Before slamming the doors shut behind them, upstairs in the dark, the survivors huddle in terror, praying Xiaoyong does not sell them out. Down on the street, nearly 10 savage cannibals surround Zhang Xiaoyong. They start bickering among themselves, complaining that there is only one prey and arguing over who gets the first bite. One cannibal girl licks her lips, boasting that eating Xiaoyong is worth 10 regular humans. Up at the window, the glasses guy peeks out and whispers that Xiaoyong is officially doomed. Swearing not even his bones will remain, a massive cannibal lunges forward to take the first bite. Xiaoyong casually steps aside, telling his masked companion to handle it, so he can burn off some stamina before dinner. Before the cannibal can even process what happened, Zhang Xiaoyong launches himself straight into the sky, landing on a 4-story rooftop like a superhero. The cannibals stare up in complete shock, trembling as they realize Xiaoyong's physique is far beyond human limits. Recognizing a true monster, the cannibals panic and turn to run, but Xiaoyong pulls out a high-tech sniper rifle from thin air. He instantly snipes a runner through the skull, coldly declaring that no one leaves alive unless they defeat his partner. Trapped, the remaining cannibals scream in desperation and charge the Chun Chong all at once. But the Chun Chong unleashes an insane martial arts blitz, kicking, slashing, and tearing through the cannibals like paper. Up at the window, the glasses guy gapes in utter horror as the entire cannibal squad is wiped out in seconds. Xiaoyong casually hops down from the roof, shaking in absolute awe. The glasses guy immediately begs Xiaoyong to take them to Shifeng steel plant. Xiaoyong agrees, but reveals he is taking a little detour to the northern outskirts settlement first. When the glasses guy asks why, Xiaoyong grins coldly, declaring he needs to see if it is necessary to wipe those people off the map. Over at the northern outskirts settlement, panic erupts as 7 high-level cannibals assault the main gate. The base leader, a shirtless guy with an epic beard named Brother Feng, orders the gates locked tight before jumping down to solo the entire horde himself. The cannibals laugh, thinking they just hit an all-you-can-eat buffet. But Brother Feng mutates into a horrifying biomutant nightmare suit, covered in sharp-boned spikes and gaping toothy mouths. He fights like a rabid animal, tearing through all 7 cannibals in a brutal brawl. Even though he slaughters them all, the transformation drains every drop of his stamina. Brother Feng collapses onto the pavement, trapped inside his own pulsing, fleshy monster suit and completely unable to move. Inside the base, the survivors panic. His daughter wants to open the gates so they can drag cannibal bodies to him so he can feed and heal. The guards warn her that in his uncontrolled state, Brother Feng might eat them too, but the brave defenders refuse to leave their leader to die, rushing out to toss cannibal meat directly into his monster mouths. Brother Feng roars at them to get back, but his people insist on saving him since he sacrificed everything to protect them. Talk about ultimate loyalty. Just as Brother Feng starts devouring the meat to recover, a second wave of opportunistic cannibals creeps out from the dark. Seeing the legendary defender beaten to a pulp, the new cannibals laugh like hyenas, boasting that their dead comrades just paved the way for an easy meal. With Brother Feng crippled, the business suit daughter and her guards pull out axes and handguns, stepping up to protect him. Meanwhile, less than a kilometer away, Zhang Xiaoyong and his squad are casually strolling up the street. Xiaoyong notes that cannibal activity is dropping, proving the northern settlement leader is actually doing a great job. Suddenly, rapid gunshots echo through the air. Xiaoyong smirks, realizing they just arrived right in the middle of a massive party. Back at the gate, the battle turns into an absolute bloodbath. The new cannibals overpower the defenders, ripping guards apart and disarming Brother Feng's daughter. A creepy cannibal grabs her by the neck, drooling about how tender her flesh looks. Before he can take a bite, Brother Feng forces his broken monster body to move, slamming into the cannibal with a violent tackle to save his daughter. The rest of the cannibal gang swarms Brother Feng, beating and stabbing his mutated body relentlessly. Knowing he cannot win, Brother Feng takes the brutal punishment to buy time for his daughter and survivors to retreat. Just as the cannibals surround his bloody, near lifeless body to celebrate their victory, a heavy rock comes crashing on them. Out of the fog steps Zhang Xiaoyong alongside Qin Chong, staring down the cannibals with cold, lethal eyes. As Zhang Xiaoyong and Chan Chong step into the open, the defenders on the wall panic, assuming another group of cannibals showed up. But the cannibals quickly realize Chun Chong does not smell like them, Realizing Zhang Xiaoyong is a rare pure evolver, Zhang Xiaoyong smirks and casually orders Chun Chong to go do the dirty work. Chun Chong sighs mentally about always being the muscle. Then Rocket launches himself forward like a freight train. A cannibal boasts about killing tons of zombies. But Chun Chong slams his boot directly into the guy's head, crushing him into the concrete instantly. The defenders on the wall gawk in utter shock, asking if this random monster is even stronger than Brother Fong. The Glasses survivor proudly reassures them that these juggernauts are powerhouse fighters from the south. Terrified, the remaining cannibals try to rally, screaming for everyone to charge together. But instead of attacking, every single cannibal awkwardly steps backward, trying to trick the guy next to them into going first. Two of the cannibals lunges toward Xiaoyong, seeing him as easy prey. But Xiaoyong decides to end the game. As the cocky cannibal attacks Xiaoyong, Xiaoyong does not even bother dodging. He raises a single hand and blasts a hole straight through the guy's chest. Horrified, the surviving cannibals scream that they are totally outmatched and turn to run. But Xiaoyong unleashes multiple plant whips from his hands, piercing through every single fleeing cannibal simultaneously. The wall defenders freeze in complete terror, calling Xiaoyong an absolute demon. But before anyone can celebrate, Brother Fong defeated Monster Corpse twitches and shoots a razor-sharp meat spike right at Xiaoyong's chest. Xiaoyong dodges just in time, getting grazed on the left arm. Annoyed by the disgusting lump of flesh, Xiaoyong wraps his plant whips around Brother Fong's entire monster body, lifting the multi-ton meatball into the air to slam it into paste. Seeing her dad about to get obliterated, the daughter drops to her knees, begging Xiaoyong to spare him. She cries that Brother Fong only attacked because his mind is unstable in that form. Xiaoyong questions if a lump of meat that twisted can even return to human form. Using his plant symbiote powers, Xiaoyong purges the unstable mutation. Brother Fong monster body suddenly vomits out all the consumed cannibal flesh. Seeing the gross pile of puke, Chun Chong starts gagging in disgust, but Xiaoyong roasts him, reminding Chong that his own eating habits are not any cleaner. With the threat resolved, the gate opens, and every single survivor in the base drops to their knees, worshipping Zhang Xiaoyong as their ultimate savior. Xiaoyong casually tells them to stand up and asks what the deal is with Brother Fong's weird power. His daughter looks up with teary eyes, revealing her father is infected with something called a mimetic flesh mutation. Brother Fong's daughter drops a massive lore bomb. She explains that mimetic flesh was originally discovered as a protozoan organism in wild animals, but rogue scientists secretly tested it on cancer patients, dubbing it the miraculous god cell because it could eradicate tumors and mimic any biological tissue. However, once the apocalypse hit, the god cell went completely out of control. It devours every cell in the host body until nothing human remains, driving the infected to spread the parasite before dissolving into a shapeless lump of meat. Eventually, these meat lumps merge together into a massive, city-swallowing monstrosity known as the Sea of Flesh. Realizing Xiaoyong was grazed earlier during the fight, Brother Fong warns him that his days are numbered, but Xiaoyong just smirks, revealing he already purged the parasite thanks to his superhuman immune system and his superior plant symbiote. To prove it, he flexes glowing vines and a giant Venus flytrap right in front of the stunned survivors. Intrigued by the parasitic biology, Xiaoyong asks Brother Fong to infect him with a fresh sample so he can try taming it. Brother Fong squeezes a drop of mimetic flesh from his hands, but as soon as Xiaoyong absorbs it, his internal symbiote shreds the parasite lifeless. Xiaoyong admits the parasite is impossible to control, asking Brother Fong how he retains his sanity. Brother Fong confesses that biologically, he is no longer human at all. Every cell in his body is mimetic flesh, and he only stays sane because his brain structure has not fully degraded yet. Knowing his mind will soon dissolve into the Sea of Flesh, Brother Fong begs Xiaoyong to protect his daughter Xiaoping and the survivors. Suddenly, Xiaoyong's system dings with a new mission pop-up called Disaster Collector for studying 3 distinct apocalypse strains: the hyperphage virus, adaptive spores, and mimetic protozoa. He unlocks 300 bonus points. Xiaoyong agrees to take in the settlement, but decides he wants to tag along when Brother Fong eventually migrates toward the Sea of Flesh out of pure curiosity. When Brother Fong asks who will guard his people, Xiaoyong casually pulls out his radio and calls Zhang Qi to send over some muscle. Moments later, the base gates open, and the survivors scream in horror as the terrifying tentacle mutant Zhang Shengzhe stomps into the yard. But right next to the giant blue monster is his little son Xiaoshui, happily waving at Uncle Xiaoyong. Xiaoyong sweats, asking Zhang Shengzhe if his wife actually allowed him to bring their kid on a combat mission. Little Xiaoshui flexes his arm, bragging that he is not a weak kid anymore. before shouting at the surrounding rooftops that he knows hidden cannibals have been tailing them the entire time. These local flesh-eaters walk up flexing their budget gym bro physiques. They really thought they found the jackpot. Talking all that trash about teaming up to take down the regional powerhouse. Brother, you are staring right at a 7-foot-tall blue tentacle monster and a child packing heat. Your situational awareness is literally below zero. Instead of running for their lives, these roided-out cannibals decide today is a great day to get erased from the map. Xiaoshui steps up like a true menace, telling his dad to sit back while he handles these absolute randoms. He pulls out a tactical pistol like he is playing Call of Duty, telling them to bring it. The lead goon hits a super speed dash, dodging bullets. He starts monologuing about how normal humans cannot react to his speed. But Xiaoshui just executes a slick magazine reload midair without breaking a sweat. Who said he was a normal human anyway? The kid is pumped full of mutant crop nutrients and pure confidence. Xiaoshui pulls off a backflip that would make Olympic gymnasts cry tears of shame, leaving the goon face-planting into the concrete. The guy is utterly flabbergasted that a literal child is serving him a full-course humbling. But of course, because these villains have negative honor, another rat tries to sneak attack the kid from behind while he is midair. Before the sneaky coward can even finish his attack, a massive thick blue tentacle bursts straight through his chest like a horror movie jumpscare. Tentacle Dad does not play about his son. Seeing their buddy turned into a kebab, you would think the rest of the gang would scatter like roaches. But no, they double down on the stupidity and decide to rush the giant monster all at once. Tentacle Dad unleashes a full Dark Souls boss area of effect attack. His tentacles sweep across the alleyway, turning the entire cannibal squad into fresh strawberry jam in 3 seconds flat. Xiaoshui runs straight over to Uncle Xiaoyong to flex his kill count. Xiaoyong gives him those top-tier mentor compliments. Xiaoyong inspects the gains, realizing his specialized farmland crops actually carry evolutionary energy as a free bonus. He starts piecing together the global apocalypse landscape. Zombies in the city, giant plant monsters in S-City, and now this weird mimetic flesh protozoa. Every region has its own customized flavor of biological nightmare. Meanwhile, out in the desert wasteland, another region is getting absolutely wrecked by giant mutated ants and hyper-aggressive wasps. Turrets are blowing up, armored trucks are fleeing for their lives, and soldiers are screaming for the side gates to open before they get turned into bug food. One poor guy gets left behind and instantly sliced in half by a massive ant jaw. Back at the base, Xiaoyong is walking down the hall with Brother Feng, casually discussing how 20 or 30 flesh-eaters are just light work for them. Then Xiaoyong spots a guy tied to a chair behind interrogation glass and asks if he is a cannibal. Brother Feng drops some crazy lore, explaining he uses this captured flesh-eater as biodetector. Since cannibals do not crave mimetic flesh hosts, they make the perfect lie detectors for silent infiltrators. But right on cue, the guy bound to the chair starts grinning like a Batman villain. He flexes his eyes and reveals who is actually a mimetic flesh host. He looks right at Brother Feng and asks if he will cry for his daughter Xiaoping's death. Xiaoping is standing right there absolutely frozen in shock. The tied-up villain drops the ultimate plot twist, claiming Brother Feng's daughter Xiaoping is already infected with mimetic tissue. Brother Feng instantly loses his mind, but Xiaoyong drops a firm reality slap on his shoulder to keep him grounded. That is when Brother Feng realizes something terrifying. Hearing his own daughter is infected did not fill him with grief, because the God Cell has officially devoured his human heart. He is completely hollow inside, realizing his time as a human is over, and he needs to throw himself into the flesh sea before he turns completely. But before he goes, he begs Xiaoyong to use his plant symbiote to clear Xiaoping. Xiaoyong breaks the news that his symbiote is not a cheat code you can just copy-paste into someone else, leaving poor Xiaoping ready to accept her fate and get put down. But Xiaoyong pulls out the M-City viral blocker serum. The tied-up host starts laughing, boasting that a viral blocker cannot touch protozoa. Well, someone hand that villain an F in biology, because seconds after injecting the serum, Xiaoping's skin completely stabilizes. The villain is utterly speechless, looking like his entire life philosophy just crumbled. Xiaoping gets excited, asking if they can cure her father too. But Xiaoyong and Brother Feng explain the situation. Brother Feng's human tissue is completely gone. He is literally just pure mimic flesh holding a human shape like a fleshy disguise. With time running out, Xiaoyong and Brother Feng head straight to K-City, the heart of the Flesh Sea disaster. While walking down the streets of K-City, a group of helpless starving kids approaches them begging for food. Brother Feng and Xiaoyong immediately sense something is off. And sure enough, these little creeps split open, revealing horrifying gaping toothy jaws all over their backs. Meanwhile back at T-City Fortress, young Xiaoshui is casually inspecting giant mutant bugs with a gun. He has been hunting these giant pests since last night, wondering if his dad's blue tentacles attracted them. Suddenly, a massive rumble shakes the gates as armored military trucks come rolling up. The soldiers inside are high-fiving each other, thinking they found a sweet civilian settlement. But the moment the doors open, young Xiaoshui aims his handgun right at their faces like a hardened warrior, ordering them to step out of the vehicle immediately. The military leader steps out with his hands up, yelling that they are just normal soldiers and not enemies. Xiaoshui scans them with total killer instinct, realizing they are not cannibals or evolvers, just regular human soldiers. The military leader tells his squad to lower their guns so they do not scare the kid, then asks who runs this place. Xiaoshui calmly replies that he is temporarily in charge of protecting everyone while Uncle Xiaoyong is away. The soldiers literally start laughing in his face, mocking the idea of a tiny brat running security. Back at the base gates, Yongbing from City B explains that a massive insect swarm overrun their previous settlement, forcing 5 vehicles of survivors to flee south. When he asks if City M has bug problems too, Xiaoshui throws a massive squished bug. The soldiers literally start belly laughing, mocking the small size of the bug and assuming the infestation here is weak. Xiaoshui wipes that arrogant grin off their faces real fast, casually mentioning that City M had 0 bug problems until yesterday, meaning the swarm is migrating. The soldiers point at the nearby roaming zombies, flexing their assault rifles like Call of Duty lobby tryhards. They brag about surviving swarms in City B, claiming zombies are elementary school level and generously offering to protect the base. Xiaoshui just gives them a poker face. Meanwhile over at K-City, Xiaoyong finishes those flesh monsters mesmerizing Feng in the process. Xiaoyong and brother Feng stand on a skyscraper overlooking the colossal, pulsing crimson nightmare known as the Flesh Sea. Brother Feng looks down at the undulating mass of toothy horrors, explaining that 20 other shape-shifting hosts are trapped down there, who lost their human memories. Feeling his own willpower slipping, Brother Feng prepares to throw himself off the ledge and surrender to his biological instincts. When Xiaoyong tries stopping him, he tells Xiaoyong it is pointless to resist because his mind will collapse eventually. But Xiaoyong is not about to let his newest heavy-tier vanguard throw his life away. He steps up, grabs Brother Feng by his tentacles, and channels glowing green bioenergy straight into his skull. Green lightning surges through Brother Feng's central nervous system as Xiaoyong delivers an absolute boss moment. If you lack structure, then I will give you structure. Xiaoyong implants a powerful adaptive spore directly into his brain, forcibly locking his mental consciousness into place. Right on cue, Xiaoyong's system interface lights up with a massive upgrade. He officially completes the Disaster Collector quest for studying all 3 major biostrains, collecting 300 system points and bumping his grand total to 347 points. Xiaoyong breaks down the galaxy brain science, explaining that the Flesh Sea is actually a defective survival mechanism that consumes everything in sight until it starves itself to death. While the spore cannot bring back his lost human tissue, it constantly regenerates his current mental structure, allowing him to remain Zhou Xiaofeng forever, as long as he feeds it structural information. Brother Feng gets super emotional, thanking Xiaoyong for saving his mind. But Xiaoyong is not done dropping insane surprises. He steps onto the rooftop ledge and casually orders Brother Feng to jump straight into the terrifying Flesh Sea below. When Brother Feng looks at him like he completely lost his sanity, Xiaoyong just smirks and says he is jumping down right alongside him. Talk about an extreme leap of faith. 2 random mercenaries in full tactical gear are hanging around a ruined gas station, complaining about their broken walkie-talkies. The guy in the cap smoking up a cigarette, insisting they need to finish refueling fast because City B is out of range, and who knows what kind of nightmare is lurking around the corner. Right on cue, a suspicious lady with a bunch others pops out of nowhere, waving her arms and asking if they are human. She claims she has tons of supplies and begs them to take her squad in. Cap guy tries to play it smart, asking if there are any bug swarms nearby. Before the secondary guy can even pitch taking them in and their supplies, the fake survivor turns into a full-scale monster mouth, snapping forward to turn them into lunch. Meanwhile, distance away from that horror show, Feng is sweating bullets, asking Xiaoyong if he is actually serious about jumping straight into a pulsing pit of parasitic biomass. Xiaoyong drops down with 0 hesitation, diving headfirst into the giant fleshy maw below. The living terrain snaps its terrifying teeth shut around them, swallowing both of them whole. For a second, everything goes dead silent. Then, pure green divine energy violently ruptures out from inside the creature's digestive tract. Erupting through the flesh like a localized bio-nuke, massive plant vines lift Xiaoyong into the sky. He hovers mid-air, casually stepping back onto the squirming terrain while telling Brother Feng that it is his turn to upgrade. Before Feng can even process what is happening, green spore tendrils violently spear straight into his back, purging his unstable mutation. Feng screams at the top of his lungs as a colossally huge wooden tree trunk erupts out of the meat sea, elevating him high into the skyline while fusing him directly into the bark. Feng looks around in sheer disbelief, realizing he can actually move the flesh terrain around him. Xiaoyong casually breaks down the mechanics, explaining that right now he only controls 1/5 of the entire meat sea, and it will take about 2 weeks of growing more trunks to gain full authority. But just as Feng starts feeling like the absolute monarch of biomass, Xiaoyong hits him with the ultimate corporate reality check. He points his finger with those icy blue eyes, reminding Feng that the adaptive spore power is strictly under Xiaoyong's remote control. If Feng ever even thinks about scheming against him or anyone in City M, Xiaoyong will instantly revoke his subscription to life. Feng folds faster than a cheap lawn chair, swearing on his life that he is way too grateful to ever betray his master. Their wholesome threat session gets interrupted when those 2 tactical mercenaries from earlier come sprinting into the plaza for their lives. They are being chased by a horrifying multi-eyed abomination, screaming that they would rather die to a bug swarm. But as soon as they slide to a halt, their jaws hit the floor when they look up and see a towering, glowing spore tree standing in the middle of the flesh wasteland. Those 2 military guys are sprinting for their lives like NPC. Suddenly, the entire pavement beneath them turns into a pulsing nightmare of organic meat. This isn't just a monster walking around. The literal road has turned into a writhing sea of flesh. One guy shouts to run to the side. But right as they turn, a massive toothy gullet opens up directly over their heads. Lucky it ignores them, and goes straight to those flesh monsters with its fleshy tentacles slamming down and swallowing the flesh monsters. The giant monster retracts its tentacles, leaving these 2 poor soldiers hyperventilating. They try to hold their breath, thinking the giant meat carpet didn't notice them. But then a loud voice speaks, telling them not to be stupid because it can see their every move. Out of the writhing flesh wall, Brother Feng emerges stepping out of a flesh sea, and right beside him, our main man Jiang Xiaoyong casually appears. Xiaoyong looks at these traumatized dudes, asking them how they even managed to crash into this biological death trap. The soldiers spill the tea immediately, explaining that a massive bug wave ran them off the road, and actual brain parasite bugs that mind-control humans into flesh puppets. These insects aren't just swarming. They are pulling off military coordination. Back with the main group, Xiaoping breaks down the terrifying science, explaining that these bugs are a eusocial species. That means 0 individuality, pure collective mind-hive coordination, and absolute ruthlessness. The soldiers realize what kind of horror it actually is. But suddenly a loud crash rattles the entire rooftop. Everyone looks up to find a squad of sketchy, barely dressed cannibal evolvers posing on the roofline like edgy anime villains. One guy looks like he hasn't slept since the outbreak started, while the lead cannibal lady struts in a pink outfit, scoffing at the crowd below. She smirks down at everyone, pointing out that Xiaoyong's main squad leader was spotted heading toward City K. With the big boss away, she offers them a charming little protection racket. Hand over 1 live human survivor every few days as a snack sacrifice, or face absolute slaughter. Xiao Shui just sneers back, calling out her ridiculous attempt to domesticate them like livestock. The lead cannibal lady gives them 30 minutes to decide. One of the soldiers immediately loses his mind at her audacity, pulling out an assault rifle and aiming straight at her. But the cannibal lady just laughs at his pea shooter, before she and her squad casually dive off the edge of the multi-story building. The soldiers freeze in pure shock as the cannibals smash into the concrete below, landing from a 4-story drop completely unharmed. The squad panics, screaming to open fire, unloading an entire hail of bullets directly into the attackers. But these cannibal evolvers don't give a single damn about bullet physics, dodging and tanking rifle rounds while sprinting full speed. The soldier captain shouts for everyone to hold the line and fall back in order. But one of the male cannibals lunges forward, aiming to rip his throat out. A massive blue tentacle erupts out of nowhere, impales the cannibal. Blood sprays across the captain's face as he turns around in shock. The cannibals stop dead in their tracks. Standing right there is none other than Tentacle Monster. The remaining cannibals lose their minds seeing Tentacle Monster delete their buddy, screaming that they were totally lied to about the boss leaving town. Realizing this blue tentacle nightmare isn't even the guy they were afraid of, they turn tail and sprint, but before they can even clear 3 feet, Chun Chong drops out of the sky. He unleashes a gut-wrenching roar, slicing through the cannibals in a literal blur of speed. In less than 2 seconds, The entire enemy squad is turned into fondue. The military captain stands there in shock. Xiaoshui casually looks over at him, asking if human monsters aren't way more terrifying than giant wasps. The captain aggressively nods like a bobblehead. As the dust settles, Xiaoyong's system interface lights up with a massive objective completion alert. Registering the new octoploid nest bug strain nets him 400 bonus system points, alongside a fresh quest to wipe out the remaining bug threat for 300 more. The captain mentions his original squad went southwest toward the highway, which Brother Feng immediately recognizes as the direct path to his own base. The soldier steps up asking why Xiaoyong even bothers keeping a base. Xiaoyong just smirks, reminding him that there are still people and places worth protecting. Brother Feng drops a tragic speech, claiming he is already one with the Flesh Sea and begging Xiaoyong to look after his daughter Xiaoping. But Xiaoyong shuts down the anime drama real quick, announcing he is bringing Xiaoping and the entire northern settlement right back here. When Feng warns that his flesh suit is too dangerous, Xiaoyong points out that his murderous instincts have already started changing. Because of the local adaptation spores, the Flesh Sea found a cheaper energy source, drastically cutting down its hunger for human prey. With enough willpower, suppressing the flesh suit is a walk in the park. Realizing he isn't a doomed monster after all, Feng smiles as Xiaoyong leads the squad to rescue the survivors. Arriving at the northern settlement gates, Xiaoshui run out cheering that Xiaoyong is back. The military captain gets a tearful reunion with his second-in-command, only to learn the rest of their unit got wiped out by mutant beasts. But before the mood turns sour, Xiaoyong reunites with Feng's daughter Xiaoping. She fearfully asks if her dad was consumed by the Flesh Sea, only for Xiaoyong to drop the bombshell that her father is alive, conscious, and controlling the Flesh Sea like an absolute king. Xiaoyong announces a total base relocation, while escorting the massive survivor convoy through the urban ruins. Gigantic red mimetic flesh behemoths stomp past in the background. Suddenly, a group of innocent-looking survivors wave down from a nearby building. The captain relaxes, thinking they are just ordinary civilians. But Xiaoyong's veteran guards instantly spot the threat and open fire without hesitation. The second-in-command freaks out, trying to tackle his own chief for shooting civilians. But when he looks back, his jaw drops to the floor. The friendly civilians twist into horrific abomination puppets. Within seconds, dozens of infected parasitic puppets crawl over the surrounding, trapping the entire convoy in a total siege. The captain immediately goes into hero mode, ordering Xiaoyong to retreat with the civilians while his men hold the line with heavy firepower. But then Xiaoyong steps past him, telling the military guys to take a seat so they don't get caught in the splash damage. Xiaoyong raises his hand, shoots the flare gun into the sky. Young Xiaoshui asks if Sister Shanshan is bringing in heavy reinforcements, but Xiaoyong just smirks, revealing that an entirely different squad of powerhouses is taking the field. Xiaoyong gives the green light to Chun Chong and Tentacle Monster, ordering them to go easy on the enemies and just make sure the survivors stay breathing while someone else cleans up. Tentacle Monster and Chun Chong blitz forward like unbound demons. The military guys stand behind them, utterly flabbergasted at the sheer spectacle of two walking bio-weapons. Another earth-shaking roar echoes through the urban canyon. A colossal horde of plant-infested mimetic flesh abominations comes stomping down the main avenue. The soldiers completely lose their composure, screaming that Xiaoyong's main vanguard is totally tied up and won't make it back in time to save them. They raise their assault rifles, preparing for a tragic suicidal last stand. When suddenly, the incoming green vine behemoths bypass the humans entirely. Instead of snacking on soldiers, the vine monsters slam headfirst into the red mimetic flesh puppets, kicking off an insanely gory kaiju battle right on the asphalt. The soldiers drop their weapons, finally realizing these plant-infused freaks are actually the secondary powerhouse squad Xiaoyong was talking about. Once the battle clears out and the enemy monsters are thoroughly turned into paste, creeping black flesh tendrils begin slithering across the pavement. The soldiers yell in pure panic, diving out of the way, watching the tendrils absorb dead monster corpses like an organic vacuum cleaner. Xiaoyong casually strolls through the fleshy nightmare zone without breaking a sweat, guiding the stunned squad toward a towering luminescent tree that literally grew right out of the concrete jungle. From the base of the Flesh Sea, a massive mound parts open, revealing Brother Feng merged waist down into the organic carpet. Xiaoping cries out for her father, trying to rush forward, but Xiaoyong catches her arm, stopping her before the uncontrolled Flesh Sea can accidentally infect her. Brother Feng warns the survivors to maintain a strict perimeter, explaining that managing an entire citywide Flesh Sea takes insane mental focus. Xiaoyong secures the area, directing the survivor convoy toward a cleared factory complex southwest of the city that Feng prepped for their new base relocation. Meanwhile, back near the T-City agricultural zone, Zhang Qi and Brother Li dumping a bunch of plant zombies corpses in a hole. Zhang Qi complains that lately the numbers of plant zombies have increased. Professor suggests that it only means a fresh wildflower cart boss has wandered nearby in the forest. Xiao Kai asks, didn't Brother Xiaoyong tame one already? Then Professor reveals there are multiple carts in the jungle. Right on cue, Xiaoyong's radio buzzes with an urgent distress call from the southern outskirts. Xiaoyong tells Brother Feng to hold down the local fort, ordering young Xiaoshui, who is casually carrying a massive iron beam like a seasoned gym bro, to stay behind with his tentacle dad while he and Chan Chong head back to handle the floral emergency.